into the future. Coming out the cage, get crazy, misbehave. Get crazy, misbehave. Get crazy, misbehave. Are you ready for the rave? Jump on, misbehave. Hey yo, you're ready for the rave. Everybody, we coming out the cage. Party people, hey, hey, hey. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. Hands up, hands up. Who wants them? Hold on. Hey, turn up. Hey, turn up. Hey, hands up. We jumping, yes, we jumping on the road. So much vibes up, yes, we ready to explode. We raving, don't you step into my lane. This feeling, yes, it's hard to explain. Flowing through my veins, flowing through my brain, driving me insane. Hey yo, get crazy, misbehave. Get crazy, misbehave. Get crazy, misbehave. Are you ready for the rave? Hey, 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 hey. Jump on, misbehave. You're ready for the rave. Hey, 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 hey. We coming out the cage. Hey, 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 hey. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up. Hands up, hands up. Are you ready for the rave? Get wild and misbehave. You're ready for the rave. Get wild and misbehave. What they want from me, 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 what they want from me. What they want from me. What they want from me, 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 what they want from me.
When the lights go out, we start moving, running through it all that dope. We ain't losing, we ain't gonna fall back, now we going in. Ain't nobody stopping us, only option to win. So we take it all, never fall on gas. And we going hard, no flaws, all facts. If you wanna call it a bluff, let's dance. But you better trust that you stand no chance. We on that next level. We on that next level. We on that next level. No capping, ain't nobody quite as good when I'm rapping. When I hit the stage, the flames they start flying. Ironic, the king of the jungle, but not lying. Wouldn't be as good as me if I stopped trying. Better just pick a corner and start crying. I'll be the one they looked up to when I'm crushing down. I was born for the throne, I look good in that crown. When the lights go out, we start moving, running through it all that dope. We ain't losing, we ain't gonna fall back, now we going in. Ain't nobody stopping us, only option to win. So we take it all, never fall on gas. And we going hard, no flaws, all facts. If you wanna call it a bluff, let's dance. But you better trust that you stand no chance. We on that next level. We on that next level. I look good in that crown. We on that next level.
Welcome to the FIFA E-Club World Cup, where the top players from the world's best clubs battle it out to become one of 6 FIFA E-Club World Cup 2021 zone winners. To make it to the zone finals, the clubs went through a tough qualification process. Let's take a step back and look at how the clubs made it here. The FIFA E-Club online qualifiers were split into 6 zones. In each zone, the clubs were divided into different conferences, where they competed in up to 3 divisions. Based on their performances, clubs moved up or down in the divisions. The qualifiers ran over the course of 4 weeks with multiple rounds. Every week, the competition got tougher as the bottom divisions dropped off. Clubs fought to secure their spot in the zone finals by means of a consistency ranking or by being the best placed club in the final week of qualifiers. After an action-packed qualification round, the 42 best clubs from all over the world are competing in 6 zones. Let's have a look at how the zone finals are set up. Like the qualifiers, the zone finals are split into 6 different zones. Zones have been divided into different groups based on the number of participating clubs in each zone. Clubs have battled it out in a round-robin style competition, which means that every club has competed against one another. This setup continued to knockout stages and now culminates in a zone final with the 2 best clubs. By the end of the FIFA E-Club World Cup 2021, the 6 zone winners will be crowned.
Yeah, show me my opponent. Top spot, I want it. My grind, I'm on it. Can't stop, keep going. Wanna know me, can't call me. I remember feeling lonely. I remember when they told me I would never get the trophy. Show me my opponent. Top spot, I want it. My grind, I'm on it. Can't stop, keep going. Wanna know me, can't call me. I remember feeling hungry. Now I'm coming for the trophy. Cause this is my moment. Till I fall, I'ma answer the call. I'm a beast, I'm a dog, and my back against the wall. I accept every challenge, had to battle for my balance. From a peasant to the palace, treat the trophy like a chalice. Stayed on my grind, great things take time. Now how I shine, you might go blind. Come along for the ride, cause I'm headed to the top with it. Going is my only option, they can never ever stop it. Show me my opponent, top spot I want it. My grind, I'm on it, can't stop, keep going. One and only, can't clone me. I remember feeling lonely, I remember when they told me I would never get the trophy. Show me my opponent, top spot I want it. My grind, I'm on it, can't stop, keep going. One and only, can't clone me. I remember feeling hungry, now I'm coming for the trophy. Cause this is my moment, moment. My moment, my moment. So many days, so many nights, I had to fall, I had to fight, I had to find the strength inside, keep hope alive. Through the dark, I found my light and now I shine. So many days, so many nights, I had to fall, I had to fight, I had to find the strength inside, keep hope alive. Through the dark, I found the light and now it's mine. This is my moment, moment, moment. My moment, my moment. Cause this is my moment.
Give me the money, give me the loot, give me the racks. Give me the hundreds, give me the skrilla, give me the stacks. Give me the bread, give me the cheese, give me the cash. Give me the fat, give me the cheese, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Now give me that, come up off that, cause I want that. You can see that, I'ma need that. Show me where the cheese at, where you keep that. I ain't looking for no feedback. It's the G's, man. You should know that I'm a glutton for money, cash. Though if you got it, pass that over to me, cause if I want it fast. I'm slacking the dollars. You know what I'm about, plus I be popping them collars. We in and we out. I got confessions and obsessions for getting the bag. Here's a lesson, just stay flexible when getting the stag. I want for 10s, 20s, 50s, 100 and more. But you should already know, because you said it before. Give me the money, give me the loot, give me the racks. Give me the hundreds, give me the skrilla, give me the stacks. Give me the bread, give me the cheese, give me the cash. Give me the fat, give me the cheese, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. I be in my dough up, that's like a cold cut. So much I'ma throw up, man, I gotta eat. Here go the proof, new, like the old bucks. Come, no, it don't slow up, that's what I'ma hold up. All this money going straight to the roof. I just be stacking my money though, more give me more. Yeah, whole lot of rolls around my waist, skinny but fat, I got tummy roll. The paper we talking, the money flow. My pockets to see where the money go. Whole lot of dough, I'm getting cake. No candle needed, I'm very yo. I'ma get bread, hits and I'm dead. Gotta get it by the loaf. Bitch in my head, my favorite bread. Man, you always got my vote. Gotta get it coast to coast. In the era on the boat. Money, money, I promote. Seriously, it ain't a joke. Give me the money, give me the loot, give me the racks. Give me the hundreds, give me the skrilla, give me the stacks. Give me the bread, give me the cheese, give me the cash. Give me the fat, give me the cheese, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag. I'ma take it, give me the bag. Yeah, I want it, give me the bag. Yeah, I need it, give me the bag. I be on it, give me the bag. Yeah, I see it, give me the bag. Ain't no stopping, give me the bag. I'ma make it, give me the bag. If you got it, give me the bag.
don't worry about that hate. We just pass it to the side, grab a drink, hold it up, say what's good, feeling right. All your friends, they invited, bring a bottle through the night. Tell them, we gon' get it lit, we gon' get it lit. Get a little throw, get a little bent, have a good time. Ay, and you don't need a vent. On tilt, we gon' really get it in, right? Right. Ain't no time to be lazy, oh no. I got a dozen girls coming, they crazy for show. And not a single girl rating an 8 or below. I swear to God, they gon' love it the way that I flow. Hey, yeah, and we gon' take it slow. Spending time while you turn up at a vacant show. You can take your time, shawty, you don't need to go. We at a house party chillin' if you need to know.
We're taking it slow. We're just taking our time. We're just living our lives. We got nowhere to go. So let's stay here the whole night. Cause all we feel is good vibes. Yeah, all we feel is good vibes.
I've been vibing with you from the jump. See the crib, I ain't even got a stunt. Making hits, I don't ever try to blunt. When I pull up, everybody wanna front now. They acting brand new every time I touch down. And to my haters, all I gotta say is what now? They say hello to the new whip, flirt with your new chick. All on TMZ, so the rights all exclusive. I'm playing with you, I know you playing too. We laying back in the cut, got the eagle view. I do this all the time, really ain't nothing new. I ain't frontin' on you, shorty, what I say is true. And now we chillin', we ain't worried about the biz though. Ay, stress-free, living like kids though. And if the vibe stay right like it is, when it's all said and done, we gon' end up more than friends.
We're taking it slow. We're just taking our time. We're just living our lives. We got nowhere to go. So let's stay here the whole night. Cause all we feel is good vibes. Yeah, all we feel is good vibes.
I got my own, I drive my own car, I got my own whip. You already know it. Hey, y'all make noise and y'all just focus. I gotta focus. I do not hang around women that golden. You keep it noted. I get the money and y'all getting no biz. I don't do poses. I keep it pushing, yeah, I keep it coasting. Whole team rolling. Shorty act up so you know that I'm ghosting. My season approaching. I got the juice, yeah, I got the potion. Let's get to toasting. Drinking my cup, yeah, let's get the poke. Hey, what's up? Pour another in my cup. Hop in a whip, pull up, yeah. All of my drugs, show love. They live in the hills, do drugs. Want more, now they can't get enough. Got my own thing, got my own thing. I don't do what everybody does, no. Hey, what's up, yeah. What's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. Stop playing. I gotta know what you're saying. You telling me you a fan. Why you DM me from Japan? You gotta love it. I do this music, put nothing above it. I had a shorty, but I had to cut it, cause I had no time to give her what she wanted. I gotta get to the bag like ASAP. I want a brand new Maybach. Whole lot of people done doubted me. Me stunting on them is a payback. I hate to say that, but I'm buying whips and I pay cash. You should see where I stay at, cause they think I'm selling that A-flat. Hey, what's up? Pour another in my cup. Hop in a whip, pull up, yeah. All of my drugs, show love. They live in the hills, do drugs. Want more, now they can't get enough. Got my own thing, got my own thing. Nah, I don't do what everybody does, no. Hey, what's up, yeah. What's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. What's up, yeah. Hey, what's up? Pour another in my cup. Hop in a whip, pull up, yeah. All of my girls show love. They live in the hills, do drugs. Want more, now they can't get enough. Got my own thing, got my own thing. Nah, I don't do what everybody does, no. Hey, what's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah. Hey, what's up, yeah.
The 42 best clubs in the world, ready to write history and become legends of the badge. Ultimate glory is at stake, a chance to create a legacy at their fingertips, with dreams of achieving greatness, making their way to the biggest stage. But only 6 will be crowned this year's FIFA E-Club World Cup Zone winners.
Here for the fame, I came here for the heart. Y'all came here for the game, I came here for the sport. Run it, we gon' stay 100. Run it, give it all or nothing.
Can we do it again?
Do it.
Hello, welcome to the FIFA E-Club World Cup 2021 Zone 1 finals as we delve into Oceania region, and Atlantide will take on Dire Wolves in an attempt to be crowned the zone champions. My name's Layla Annalee. I'm joined by Spencer Owen, and it's final time.
It is indeed, Layla. It's been a long, drawn-out, but very thorough process to get to where we are. This weekend, we're going to crown a lot of champions in different zones, of course, starting off, as you mentioned, with Oceania. I can't wait for it.
So break down Oceania a little bit for me and how the sort of journey of how they got here, because it's quite an intriguing region.
Well, of course, I mean, we've broken up the whole competition into regions this year for obvious reasons, and to give each guys their chance to kind of really shine as well. And I think Oceania is a burgeoning region. We've seen some great players, and one particularly that's made it this far that we've seen latter stages of many tournaments over the years. So it's growing, it's getting bigger all the time, and obviously this is an opportunity for 2 organisations to really stamp their authority on the region, although interestingly, one of them not being an Oceania-based organisation. We've got a French organisation in Atlantide going up against the Dire Wolves' more native Australian eSports team.
There's so much to talk about when it comes to this game, and someone who can help us is our zone reporter, Peter Saisanes. He's on the line now. Peter, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Excited.
Good. I wanted you to start by giving us an update on the journey that Atlantide and Dire Wolves had to get here.
Yeah, well, 2 very different journeys on the way to their finals. I mean, Atlantide Wave coming in with complete dominance the whole way through the online qualifiers, all the way up to the final whistle of the group stage game last Thursday. So, I mean, they've asserted their dominance right from the start. They've won both weeks in the online qualifiers, whereas Dire Wolves, on the other hand, came in through a playoff. So, you know, things were looking, I guess, kind of bleak for them, but they've managed to clutch up immensely in the last group stage games, and they managed to get here on merit and a deserved spot in the final.
Peter, looking forward to seeing how the 2 match up. But let's talk about the region as a whole as well. You know, this is a really exciting region. I know you guys are very proud of the FIFA ability you guys have got over there, and this is a chance for you to show the whole world, right?
Yeah, definitely, and I think the players on Showcase today will do that. I know you guys are familiar with Marco from Atlantide Wave, who's, you know, he's been here before and he's been in all types of different, you know, worldwide tournaments, and he's really one to look at. But not discrediting the other guys, Naylor, who I'm going to go out and say is the Oceanian Tex, and you got Dylan on the other hand from Dire Wolves, who's an absolute class player. Who, you know, very rarely you'll see him make a mistake, and of course JMK King, who's kind of like the complete package.
You've given us a taste of styles with your comparison to Tex, but how would you compare the 2 styles of the clubs facing each other today?
I'd say Atlantide are a bit more eccentric, and Dire Wolves are a little bit more composed. So I guess I'll be a little bit more patient with the player, where Atlantide Wave will look to come out and just bang goals.
Eccentricity versus composure.
Yeah, I think Dire Wolves will be a little bit more patient, and of course, being the underdog, trying to kind of work themselves into the game.
Peter, thank you so much. We're looking forward to it. So eccentricity versus composure, the favourites versus the underdog. How are you seeing this going down?
Well, this is what I love about this format, obviously. It is about the organisation, first and foremost. It's about their roster. In some cases, you know, not just even 2 players. In these matches, we're only going to see 2 players match up. But, for example, Dire Wolves have actually had a whole load of players. They've been able to mix and match throughout the process and register. So it shows the balance of your squad. It's not just about 1v1, which is what we traditionally see so much in competitive FIFA. So, yeah, you've got to have a balance. You've got to have the ability to work together. And you can't have someone carrying someone else. You will come undone if that's the case.
You're saying you can't have someone carrying someone else. We've got some strong players in Atlantide. Tell me a little bit more about the players.
OK, so as our friend Peter there just mentioned, of course, Naylor is looking like a really top player at the moment. Obviously on the PlayStation, currently ranked second. So I think the comparison to Tex is not just about his ability and dominance, it's also about the way he attacks. We're going to see some of his highlights soon about the way he scores goals in and around the box. Really quite scary at times. Marco then slightly maybe more comfortable in possession, slower player if you like, more dominant in games in possession-wise, and again, been there, done that in the competitive scene. So these are two top players. You've got second on PlayStation in Naylor, seventh on Xbox for the region, and Oceania with Marco. In terms of rankings, that's solid.
Two very strong players, but also they chose, because they were the top of the group, they had the option to choose which platform to play on first. They've chosen PlayStation. What do you think of that? Well,
it's massive. We've seen it yesterday. It can have a huge effect on the outcome of the game. Essentially, it's going to be best of fives, and it basically means we're going to start on PlayStation, next game on Xbox, go to the third game, PlayStation again. If it isn't 3-0, obviously we continue. But ultimately, if you play 5 games, 3 of them will be on PlayStation. So if you favour your PlayStation matchup, you're in good shape.
And so then we move on to Dire Wolves, who are very clearly the underdogs here.
Yeah, the Underwolves, you could call them. They're kind of coming into this, I think, because there's a smaller region in terms of the teams on offer, we know a lot more about how they match up against each other.
Yeah.
And clearly on stats, we can see that Atlantide are looking like they're the ones to beat here. But that doesn't mean Dire Wolves can't do it. It's a couple of games of FIFA at the end of the day. Anything can happen. And they've obviously had a little bit of chance now to know who they're going to go up against, scout them out a little bit. We've got JMK King on the PlayStation. Now, he's ranked 36th in the region for PlayStation, which in a smaller region, obviously, is not necessarily the same as being 36th in Europe, where there's a bit more competition or other regions. So there's a bit of a gulf there, 36th to second on the rankings between the two PlayStation players. Dylan on the Xbox, though, is 6th. That is higher ranked than Marco. So if we're looking at the kind of on-paper matchups, maybe PlayStation favours Atlantide, but maybe there's a chance that on the Xbox, Dire Wolves could get some wins.
Naturally, in a final, anything can happen, but part of the story has already been told. We've seen them play each other before, and I believe we've got some goals to look at.
Yeah, of course. So, again, it's just one group stage, so we've seen that these guys play up against each other. This is the highlights from the PlayStation matchups. This is Naylor of Atlantide up against Dire Wolves, JMK King. Look at some of the goals that Naylor is scoring here, and you can see why the comparison to Tex is coming out. His footwork in the box, his composure, his ability to link up skill moves and find space where it looks like there is none. I would not want to go up against this chap, I'm not going to lie to you. This was 3-1 in the end, this leg. It did get a late consolation goal for JMK King on the PlayStation. But obviously, if we're going to take anything from that, maybe we're going to expect that the PlayStation matchup could go to our friend Naylor.
And then we've got some Xbox goals as well.
Yes, of course. So these guys matched up again on the Xbox as well. This game was a closer one. Actually, was a draw between these two players. One also. What I'm saying, about the Xbox maybe being a little bit tighter and a bit more room for manoeuvre could well happen. This is Marco versus Dylan. Marco taking the lead there, but Dylan getting one back. I love that link-up, one-touch passing in the box. And yeah, is there not much to tell between these two teams, so we don't know how it's going to go.
It's clear with Dire Wolves being such underdogs where people will think the game would go. But what sort of techniques, what will they need to create an upset today? Well,
it's obviously going to come down to two things for me. It's going to come down to how much have they prepared their game for their opposition? Have they looked at their weaknesses? Have they planned for that? But crucially, because of the way that the pick's been made, it's going to come down to the PlayStation matches because we're going to have more of them, basically, if we need them. So it's as much as, Marco and Dylan would love to have a say on this outcome, it's really going to come down to the PlayStation matches. And ultimately, JMK King, if he can rise to the occasion and find a way to, that 30-point, or it's more than 30, 34 spots on the ranking difference.
Big gap.
If he can equalise that, anything could happen.
Let's take a look at the Zone 1 table. I believe it will pop up here for us now. And this should explain a little bit more about their qualification journey here.
You can see Atlantide topping that group, right? And again, it's a smaller group, just of 4 teams, of course. And they have won it. So you look at the records, so it's 3 wins for Atlantide, 2 draws and just the 1 loss. Dire Wolves, similar, but they had the 2 losses instead. And one of those losses was obviously against Atlantide. So that's what we're taking from it. It's the 2 best teams in the region. Shout out, by the way, to the 2 teams that didn't make it. Obviously, Melbourne City eSports, much like their kind of partner club, Man City eSports, just not quite making it out the group stage, but doing very well to get to this point in the event. But also FUTWIZ, by the way. FUTWIZ in a final in the South American region. And obviously getting to the top 4 here in the Australian region. And there are UK teams. They've got players all over the shop. So you don't necessarily have to make it to the very end to get a bit of recognition in the space for me.
OK, well, we're going to get to know the teams a little bit more. But from the teams themselves, here's a little bit about Atlantide.
I've been playing FIFA for, I'd say, close to 10 years or so now. Professionally, about 5th year now.
Our qualification wasn't easy. We had to come top 4 in the region, which is quite a tough task, but we did win the qualifiers back-to-back, so we did qualify as first seed.
My team name is Atlantide Wave. They're a new team based out of France, run by a professional footballer, Salif Sane, who plays for Schalke in Germany.
Marco is a great guy, excellent teammate, and he's very good at FIFA, so that helps.
His strength is definitely his attack. He's actually fantastic at attacking, probably one of the best I've genuinely ever seen.
And Marco is very good at controlling the game, not letting his opponents have everything.
So opponent with Direwolf is Dylan, I'm pretty sure it will be. He's another young kid coming through, another fantastic player.
Direwolf, my opponent in that game will be JMK. He's quite new to the scene, but he's done well over the years, and I'm looking forward to the game.
We're a new team into the eSport, and it's a new French team, so hopefully all the French fans can get around us in the Australia region.
I'm excited to play on the stream, and my friends and family will be watching, and hopefully I can pull out the results for them.
We've won the first week and the second week, so I definitely think we can win it all.
I think we could win it all. We've gone back-to-back in the qualifiers, so I think our aim is definitely to win it all.
Well, Atlantide fancy themselves to go all the way, as they should. It's exactly the ego you want ahead of a big game.
Well, the form book doesn't lie. You know, they could sit there and try and play themselves down. Everyone knows they're going to be the favourites going into this. It doesn't mean it's a foregone conclusion. Don't think that it's already done. You know, if I'm in the Direwolves camp right now, I'm feeling like, OK, everyone's carrying us out, the pressure's off. Not anything can happen. But, of course, they have been the most dominant. And it is, like I say, it's a smaller region in terms of the team, so it's easier to see who's coming out on top at the moment. But it doesn't matter what the rankings say. It doesn't matter what the league table says. The thing to win is this final. And if Direwolves get it, they're on top.
There is a danger there. Do they risk underestimating their opposition?
That's up to them, isn't it? That's up to their preparation. And have they got comfortable? You know, it's easy to get comfortable at the top, but everyone wants to knock you off. They've won back-to-back weeks in qualification. They've won their group stage. Everything's going right for them. But if it doesn't end right, it doesn't matter. So you've got to finish strong.
Well, that's how Atlantide feel. Here's the emotions from Direwolves.
My first FIFA would have been FIFA 06 on the PlayStation 2.
I've played FIFA since FIFA 16, so for 5 years now.
The majority of my time, I'm an office manager at the local golf club. I work there full time.
Well, actually, I'm starting university this week. I'm studying the Bachelor of Commerce at Sydney University, which will go for 3 years.
I think his main asset is his ability to retain the ball and his composure under pressure.
I say JMK King's strength as a FIFA player is unpredictability going forwards. He likes using skill moves a fair bit, so he's sometimes very hard to defend in the box.
Coming up against Atlantide, I think they might be the favourites for the group in my opinion. I think they've got the most balanced roster with Naylor and Marco.
I can see Atlantide Wave winning it all, but at the same time, I think we can definitely capitalise on a few weaknesses that Direwolves as a team we've identified in their gameplay.
And all my friends, they'll usually get into a call themselves and do a little watch party together, so it's always good to know that the people around me are always behind me.
My friends and family will all be supporting me. I know my family back in South Africa, my grandma in Portugal, they'll all be watching along.
I think we've got real potential to cause some upsets and go all the way here.
If you like an underdog story, Direwolves is the team for you.
I like to see JMK highlight Dylan's composure, because when you're going as an underdog against a favourite, composure could be key here.
Of course, and yeah, that's what's going to happen. If they get beaten that first game, their composure is going to get tested, isn't it? And not just in physical one-on-one chances, but their composure as people going into these games. The fact that it's a best of 5 means they've got a lot of chance to overturn that. Personally, I think they're doing a great job in really painting themselves as the underdogs. Exactly what I would do in that position. And I love that. If you like an underdog, then this is the team for you. Getting the people behind them. Let's remember again, whilst all the players playing here are Australian, these are the actual native Australian eSports organisation, and whilst Atlantide might be slightly performing a little bit better on the FIFA front, Direwolves are an organisation that's been around for quite some time, founded in 2014, and you know they've paid their dues in the eSports scene. This is an opportunity for them to do very well. What I love about the JMK King, we should say, story.
Yeah.
He's an office manager at a golf club, right? Which is great, but this is his chance as an individual as well to really put himself on the map. Can he turn FIFA into his full-time job if he wants to? You know, there's jobs out there for people, there's contracts out there. Can he go and get that extra contract, that better contract off the back of this? You know, 36th in the rankings right now. He has the most to gain today, not just in prize money, not just in kudos, but in a career.
Well, I think we are ready to get into the finals. Atlantide versus Direwolves, and our casters today are Richard Buckley and Brandon Smith.
Thank you very much, Layla. And yes, good morning here from London in the UK. We're going to be kicking off our big day of action. I would say a Championship Sunday tomorrow, but it's pretty much a Championship weekend because they're going to be crowning 6 different zone winners. Kicking off this morning, Richard, with Oceania. And I mean, what a treat we have in store.
Yeah, unbelievable game coming up right now. And one thing that we have to stress at home, this is a marathon, not a sprint. We've gone from the best of 3 to a best of 5 right now. So potential of really, what, 2.5 hours of FIFA when you consider what's going to be happening in between, the chemistry chats, the team talks between the two players. Really, everything is up for grabs right now between these two. And what a final it is. Goliath versus David, shall we say. Yeah. Other way around, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. You know that an underdog might be making that fairy tale story and pulling out on top. But I find it very, very hard to look past Atlantide.
It's a tough one, isn't it? As you said, they top the group. They've not been beaten by this Direwolves side yet. However, knockout football, Richard, anything can happen. We saw in this zone here, in zone number 1, there was only 4 teams that made it into the group. Commiserations to Team FootWiz and Melbourne City. They didn't make it through to that top 4. Atlantide Wave and Direwolves were the teams to do it. And you would say, you know, apart from Marco, he's a name that we know in this scene very, very well. There's a lot of names that, for some time, I'd say, in this last sort of 12 months in competitive FIFA, have been making some serious noise. I mean, we're going to quickly, before we jump into this grand final, go and check out some messages that have been sent in from the family and friends of Direwolves.
Just a quick message of support, Dylan and Josh. Tonight will be a tough matchup, but you've had an epic tournament. Keep doing what you've already done and bring home the win for the Wolfpack.
Hi Dylan, just wanted to wish you good luck for tonight. We'll be supporting you all the way. Very proud of you.
This message is for my nephew Dylan from Team Direwolves. Hey Dylan, we just wanted to wish you all the best for the grand final today. I hope you and Josh come out tops and winners. We just wanted to say keep calm and focused and score loads of goals.
Yes, go guys, you can do this.
You go Dylan, go Josh.
There you go. Lovely to hear that, isn't it? Before a big grand final, Richard. It's one of those, isn't it? Sometimes you don't want to hear that, and sometimes you do want to hear that before a big grand final. Lovely words for Direwolves, and I'm sure those extra sort of bits of motivation will help them in this one.
Yeah, and there were all messages for Dylan. I don't really think Dylan needs the support in this game. We've seen that he can do it. This game and this series is going to be won and lost in the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th match right now. If JM King can get results on the boards, whether that be through penalties, whether that be just getting one win out of either game 1 or game 3 on the board, that is where they will win this series. Because Dylan might beat Marco, but if his teammate loses all 3 matches, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? And really the pressure is on JM King. It's going to be a fascinating series of events that are about to unfold, and I cannot wait to get into it.
Well, here we go then. Months upon months of qualifiers online have all led to this moment now. The first of 6 grand finals, kicking off with zone number 1 in Oceania. A best of 5 between Atlantide Wave and Direwolves. We'll see the first name on the winners list for the 5th FIFA E-Club World Cup. Might be a different format, but the result is exactly the same, to be the champions of your zone. Atlantide Wave kicking from left to right, Direwolves from right to left. And I just want to talk about this man, left top corner of your screen right now, Richard. Second he sits in the Global Series rankings at this moment in time. For me, probably the most consistent player currently in Oceania. He's qualified for all 3 qualifiers, Richard. A breakout year. I mean, he's always been on the sort of tip of the tongue for many people. It's just a case of showing what Naylor could do this year. Picked up a move and sort of probably went onto the wing of Marco as well. Marco, a player that doesn't need an introduction. He's been to E-World Cup finals. He's won so many events. Certainly feels like just them two together have gelled so well this year. And there's no surprise why they did top the group and that they're in this grand final at this moment in time.
Yeah, needs no introduction, does Marco. But Naylor, you said the most consistent player in this region, by far as well. Might not necessarily be winning the events like an Aiden Azar was earlier in the year. But Naylor, in terms of consistency, is right up there as arguably the best player in Oceania this FIFA 21 season.
As I said, sits second on those PlayStation rankings, as we know this year in the Global Series. All those tournaments are on the PS4. On the flip side, for JMK, this could be an early start for him. It's Schmeichel that comes out to collect that. One thing we know about this man, Richard, he has been so passionate in this journey. He has been the breakout star as well. You know, give credit to the fantastic Pete Sasanis, who's been our sort of zonal reporter here in Zone 1. He's given us the insights as a player that has had spells at many different teams in the Australian E-League. He's played FIFA, he's been to FIWCs. He said he is the breakout star. You look at where he is in the Global Series rankings. This has been a remarkable tournament for JMK. He's got a defender against R9. Landside wave, first time in the box. Ronaldo, brilliant block. Out the back from Virgil van Dijk. We've seen that time and time again all weekend long.
Not really 20 minutes into this game, but mechanically, Naylor looks fantastic in the final third. Lack of cancel to create that chance. He looks very slick, does Naylor.
One thing worth mentioning as well, that for this tournament, Marco had to go and play on the Xbox. That was his choice, no doubt. The Global Series points not on the line for this, just the prize money and the pride of being the FIFA E Club World Cup champion. It's a best of 5 this one, so potentially if we play all 5 games, we could be looking at 3 of this exact match, Richard, on the PlayStation. A lot of FIFA. And we're only just getting started today. Mbappe. Try and move this one forward for Dire Wolves and JMK. Into overload with Alphonso Davies out on the left. Gets the ball back to R9 and just with the fingertips of Schmeichel. Does enough to win a corner. You can just see him. He wants to have an outpour of emotion, doesn't he, JMK? He's waiting for that first big goal to settle the nerves.
Outstanding save from Schmeichel at the near post. That strike looked goal-bound until Schmeichel got something on it. Corner into the back post. Nothing really coming of it. 30 minutes in, Direwolves had a lot of the ball, but that's another mistake at the back. Maybe those early indication of where we thought the game was going to go, potentially starting to swing back in Direwolves' favour.
At the moment, you would probably say that Direwolves have looked the stronger of the 2 in the final third. Can't look into that too much. It's a long old game. Still so much to say. Here's R9, brilliant little dummy of the ball there from Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been superb as always. That team of the year variant. The Portuguese forward, so good in the air this weekend, so good in the box as we've come accustomed to expect from him. Who will be the first player to find the breakthrough here in our Zone 1 Grand Final?
Both players just look a little bit on edge, don't they? When we can see the face cam shots, the live shots of the players, they both just look a little bit nervous, as you would be. Playing first, you know that the majority of the games are going to be falling with yourself if it does go to that best of 5.
Pele into R9, maybe to get us underway. Ronaldo, brilliant stuff, and even better save. Waiting, aren't we, for that first goal to go in, and maybe, just maybe, all the others will follow.
Very good save at the near post as well. Made sure that he stepped across. A couple of step overs from Cristiano Ronaldo, opening up that gap inside the box, but goalkeeper equal to it. Have to say as well, very similar to what yesterday, if you were joining us for the FIFA E Club World Cup, every game has to have a winner in these individual matches. So if it has to go to extra time and penalties, then it will go to extra time and penalties to find who will be the decisive victor in each and every game.
Well, that will bring us in for half-time in only our first game. Look how tightly contested this has honestly been so far, Richard. I mean, I'm looking at some of those stats in front of me now. It's ridiculously tight, and we often talk about this because of the teams are so good, the teams are so stacked between the two. it does just come down to those really fine margins, doesn't it? Who makes a mistake? Who provides that piece of magic in the final third? It can often sound so easy to say sitting here as a commentator, but it really is that case.
Well, you can see the order of play for this Zone 1 best-of-5 final. If it does go all the way, we'll be having a repeat of this match. Not once, but twice. Naylor against JMK King. In the third match, Marco and Dylan sandwiched between. And then if we go to those decisive matches, Marco against Dylan again, finishing with the Game 5, Naylor against JMK King. We are back underway here. Nothing in the opening periods of the second half as the ball just goes out of play right there. And Direwolves really, you would say, need to get this first win on the board to sort of settle everything. They came in as underdogs. They've said that themselves, that they're underdogs in this tie. They can go 1-0 up and put Atlantide under a little bit of pressure. You might start to see the tide going in the favour of Direwolves.
Naylor coming forward. Ronaldo tries to drop the shoulder. Vieira at the back. I mean, the question to you, Richard, briefly, is that I'd say this tie works more in their favour. Here comes JMK. Tries to get a little composure touch around the corner. But looking at where these teams have played before, they've struggled more, Direwolves, on this PlayStation side. They've not beaten Naylor. On the flip side, we've had draws between Marco and Dylan. And that's just the facts.
This is, I said it before the game started, these are the games that they have to win if they want to lift that trophy at the end of the day. It's as simple as that.
Outside wave coming forward with a wave of pressure with Cristiano Ronaldo being at the forefront of it. Still goalless here, and as you said yesterday, Rich, we saw team makers from Zone 4 in Europe go to 3 different penalty shootouts in a best-of-3. I mean, I doubt we'll see something on the same lines as that, but I mean, this is the Club World Cup. Anything can honestly happen. We could see extra time a couple of times. We could see a penalty shootout at some point. I'm sure we will see it across one of our Zone finals.
We said we had draws in the group stages. No draws are going to be happening in our finals. We have to find a winner.
Can he find something from this pressure? It just keeps on being thrown on JMK. At the moment, he's doing so well with it. 63 minutes played here in our first game in the best-of-5. Poor pass from Mbappe into Cristiano Ronaldo will give the ball back once again to the team that have been in control of possession in this. An eSports organisation that bursted onto the scene this year on FIFA 21. They're a French eSports organisation that could be 1-0 up. I mean, if you're a FIFA eSports player and you're familiar with the Foot Freeze promo, the team manager, we should say, Richard, is no one else than Sané of FC Schalke. I packed him a couple of times, actually. I think I've got him in a party bag once.
Can't say I have.
Didn't make the team, though.
Just offside there. You saw the changes coming on. 66 minutes into this tie. 4-4-2 second variation for Naylor. It was Neymar being introduced onto the pitch.
The great thing is with sort of eSports accounts and teams that these guys have been able to use, that can use any player. Any team of the year, any prime. That one in their disposal. Also means you've got brilliant options off the bench. Fantastic little touch around the corner. Chance for JMK. Once, twice, 3 times! It might be fortunate. Now it bounced back to the feet of Cristiano Ronaldo. But you can win 6-0. You can win 2-0. Or you could just scrape a 1-0 win in this format. A win is a win at the end of the day. And you should say a gift of a goal for Cristiano Ronaldo there.
Very, very fortunate for JMK King. The ball just rebounding to him inside the box. It was glued to Ronaldo's right boot. That ball. Nothing that Naylor did seemed to have any effect on CR7. And we said Direwolves have to win this game. Have to win the PlayStation ties. We're 17 minutes away from taking a 1-0 win into this best-of-5 series.
Well, we said the facts that JMK has not beaten Naylor in this competition as of yet. What a time to do it in the grand final. No doubt they will be matching up again in game 3. Ronaldo tries to elastico his way past the feet of the French CDM, and now makeshift centre-back in Patrick Vieira. He certainly can do a job there, Richard. He's looked not really out of place.
He's very strong, he's Patrick Vieira, whether it's at centre-back or in midfield. He can do a job for you. Comes forward yet again, though. And I think this is going to be the story of the last 10 minutes here. Endless pressure.
It's that final pass, isn't it? That final ball that he's just lacking in these sort of areas. Bruno Fernandes even getting back to defend. And to do his bit. 10 minutes away. This could be a brilliant chance. Mbappe, acres of space. Ronaldo's in the box. For JMK, well, he just looked to slow it down instead. Dispossessed. Carlos Alberto wins the ball back so well. As you were saying though, Rich, they did play in an online qualifiers, these two. And of course, it was Atlantide Wave that came out on top. It's another block again. It's in the air, and Edison wins the ball. Naylor, just nothing is coming off for him, Rich. He can't find the final pass in the final third, and he can't get a clean shot or goal.
That's a fantastic kick out as well. Schmeichel will probably just boot that or play for a throw-in. High up the pitch, 4 minutes left to play. The ball very much in JMK King's half right now.
And he's minutes away.
Yeah. Got the ball in his court.
You said, Rich, if there's one time to beat them, it's now. In a grand final, one more goal would certainly solidify. That does get dispossessed. This is the last chance in leg one for Naylor. That ball has got to go forward, and it's got to move quick. There's no doubt added time will be probably 1 minute. This will be the final chance. Play a lot coming out. R9 back to Bruno Fernandes, back to R9 again. Scores. We go into extra time. Naylor just straight down the goalkeeper's throat, and that should be enough to put a massive point on the board in terms of this best-of-5 performance. What a result for Dire Wolves. As you said, they came in as the lowest-ranked seed into this tour, made it into the grand final, and they've never beaten that man on your screen on the left, Naylor. I mean, what a time to do so, Richard Buckley.
I mean, look, R9 Ronaldo, you're asking questions. A 96 prime R9. Put it either side of the goalkeeper. That's a goal. He's put it straight down the middle of Edison. We talked about this match is going to be decided with the PlayStation legs. Now, a lot of pressure put back on Marco. Marco's got to get a win here for this Atlantide side. If this goes to, you said there was draws in the group stage, that can't happen now. Could go to penalties, that's a lottery. Really, up for grabs, you would say, this tie right now. I'll be completely honest, I saw a clean sweep. I'm going to say it. I saw a clean sweep in Atlantide's favour. I saw a 3-0.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen right now. A best-of-5 looks like it could be on the cards.
Yeah, it certainly can. You can see the results in front of us on our screen. That is the potential of what could happen in this game today. $13,000 going to the winning team. Let's not forget that will be the first zonal champions in the FIFAe Club World Cup. And, I mean, you'd have to say, going against what you'd expect to be happening right now, because this is the game that I just didn't think favoured Dire Wolves at all. They haven't been as good on the PS4, and that's nothing against JMK. It's just in this certain matchup, Dylan's been the stronger of the two. He's an Xbox player by trade. Yes, he's had to move over to the PlayStation for the Global Series this year. I think this next game is huge. It really is. I mean, every game's big, don't get me wrong. If he doesn't win this game, Marco, it's 2-0, and JMK could be on for a repeat, get the job done. Next thing you know, Dire Wolves will be the winner.
Yeah, incredible scenes in that first game of the day. 1-0 Dire Wolves lead in this best-of-5 Zone 1 finals. We're going to jump back into the action very soon indeed, but let's get the thoughts of Layla and Spencer after game 1.
Well, Richard Buckley's ideas of a clean sweep have been picked up and thrown into the bin. Probably not a more dramatic way to start the show.
Not a more dramatic way and not a more perfect way for the neutral.
Yeah.
Obviously, not so much for the Atlantide fans out there. But, I mean, if we talk about JMK King being an office manager at a golf club, if this was golf, his handicap would be coming down. Because he's just shown what he can do. You know, that's a massive win. And it's made the tie perfectly poised now. Exactly what the lads were just saying. If, and let's be honest, that was the underdog game, really, in terms of the Atlantide, you know, favouritism. If Dylan can get a result here against Marco, then it's not even about it being evened up. It's about actually suddenly the favourites have become the underdogs themselves. So it's a massive result.
Not only an underdog team, but also an underdog player in the rankings. JMK King making quite a statement.
100%. I mean, obviously, it's one 90-minute game of FIFA. We're going to have 4 more now, but in terms of that match-up, just 1 goal deciding it. Very tight. We shouldn't read too much into it because we have got 4 more games to come. But in terms of the setup, it's really good because obviously if we'd seen Atlantide come out and win that game, maybe it would start to feel like a foregone conclusion. You know, Richard Buckley himself saying he was predicting a clean sweep. That can't happen now, unless, of course, we see a clean sweep in the opposite direction.
Exactly. It's very fair to say we shouldn't read too much into it, but we're going to read absolutely
that's
into it because that's what we do. With the confidence boost that this is going to give Dire Wolves now, them coming into this next game, it's almost evened up their emotions, no?
It's huge because this is also where the team work comes into it. It's not a traditional team in the sense they're not actually playing at the same time together, but they do play together in so many different ways. Like right now, if you're Dylan going into this next game, you feel so much weight off of you because you don't feel like necessarily you have to win. You feel a lot more faith in your teammate that, oh, he actually can get a result here, because that's the first time we've actually seen a win for the Dire Wolves over Atlantide. So we know it can be done now. So, I mean, I'd feel great if I was Dylan going into this one. If he loses it, all it does is reset things. You go again then, don't you? So they've earned the right to be a little bit more relaxed, but just don't get too relaxed.
Yeah, so the self-belief is bursting, and this is the reason why. Let's take a look at the goal. If Spencer, you could walk us through.
Yeah, obviously just the 1 goal here, and there was a little bit of fortuitousness here with that shot, getting 2 bounces. It does eventually falter after the 3rd chance there. You can see what it means to JMK King, and you can see exactly what Naylor thought about it as well. Listen, these things happen. That's why we're playing 5 legs. It's going to even itself out.
We could also argue that Atlantide Wave weren't expecting that. What will they be saying to each other now?
I think they'll still be cool, calm and collected. They have to be. They've earned the right to be. They've played so well throughout this whole qualification process. It doesn't change, it's just 1 leg of FIFA. But as the guys mentioned there, Marco's going to feel a bit more pressure now. Needs to go out and get his win. He maybe felt he wasn't going to have to do too much in this tie. It was, you know, his teammate Naylor was going to take care of business. Not so much. It's over to Marco now. So
it's best of 5, but of course the next game could mean everything.
Of course, yeah. I mean, if it goes again to the Dire Wolves, then it's 2-0, and it means that Atlantide have to win every other game that's left, or else it's over. So, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to go all the way to the 5th match.
I believe we've got some reactions here coming up. I'd like to take a little look at this.
Come on! Oh, I played so sick, bro. Like, even though the goal's A's, I played so well.
Yeah, so he's just sort of alluding to the fact that he got a bit lucky on the goal there.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily like that word that he used there, but we have to say that. But yeah, of course, it's gonna balance itself out a little bit. Yeah. I think that you get one of those goals, and you can't rely on them to keep happening. So they're going to see potentially 2 more matches between those 2 lads. If he keeps getting them, then he's earned it. He said himself he's played sick, and I'll be honest, he did, because I wasn't focusing so much on the goal, I was focusing on the defending.
Yeah.
We talked about how good Naylor was going forward. We saw some of his highlights in the same matchup between those 2 guys in the group stage, and he was doing some unbelievable things in the box. JMK King just nullified it completely there.
It's an exciting start, but of course, there's still more games to go. Anything could happen. It could all change from now. It's going back to our casters.
Thank you very much, guys. And yes, we are back now for, technically, the 2nd game in this series. Who knows, Richard, how long this one's going to go on for, because it could really go to a game 5. Maybe, just maybe. But the biggest point here is that Marco has to come out fighting, has to come out with a big result. When you look at his sort of resume of what he's achieved in this space, in competitive FIFA over so many years, you'd want to put it in his hands, wouldn't you?
You would. However, right now, right here, right now, you got to say Dylan, he's probably the better of the 2 players in terms of the qualifiers, where they've been placing, in terms of the global series. You've got to say Dylan's had a better season than Marco. So really, I don't see this being the swing game. I think it's going to be the PlayStation leg still. I'm still confident that those are going to be the games that are going to swing this tie. However, a very good opportunity to put Dire Wolves in a very strong position, and JM King very confident as well. You heard in the reaction just after that goal went in right there. Very confident in the approach and very confident in the rest of the game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you have just tuned in, this is the FIFA E-Club World Cup Zone 1 finals. This weekend, today and tomorrow, we're bringing you 6 different finals from teams all over the world. Today, we've got quite a treat for you, haven't we? We've got Oceania this morning, sort of afternoon, early afternoon. We'll be going over to sort of Middle East and Africa to conclude the Zone 3 finals there. And then we'll end the day, as we ended it last night, in South America again. What a game that proves to be with E-Liga Sol and Team FUTWiz in action there. I mean, all different prize money up for grabs, but still the same pride in being a FIFA Club World Cup, you know, winner at the end of the day. And I think that's the biggest thing here. You know, weeks upon weeks of qualifiers led to months of, you know, conferences and online divisions. It came down to knockout football. We said it in the commentary. This is the one time that Direwolves have to forget what's happened in the groups, have to forget what's happened in those online qualifiers where they've previously matched against this team and may have not have got the result they wanted to. This is when it matters, and throw that previous result out the window, because at the moment, Direwolves are up with 1 win next to their name in this all-important best of 5. This will be a huge game now. Atlantide Wave, Marco, up against DW Dylan, a player that I would most definitely say has come onto this scene so well in the last 12 months. Summer Cup Series last year was like one of the final events of the year for the FIFA 20 season. FIFA 21, he's played in 2 out of 3 qualifiers. Yep. One of those still to come up next month. He's been a player that everyone should be knowing, should be looking at, I should say.
And you alluded to it in that previous match, Brandon, when you said it doesn't matter if you win 6-0 or 1-0, a win's a win. And right there, you saw the perfect example of that. Defensively, JMK King, very, very strong. He got the one chance and he scored it, and that's all you've got to do. Right here, if you're an Atlantide Wave fan, you just got to hope Marco can get over the hill and get a point on the board. Because if it goes 2-0 up in Direwolves' favour, I think we might be looking at our FIFA 21 Zone 1 E-Club World Cup champions.
As I said, hey, let's look at who we're dealing with on the screen in Marco. A player that's won the Australian E-League a handful of times. He's been to FIFA E-World Cup finals where spots were very much limited in his region. With a new outfit and a new team this year on FIFA 21. They have been the strongest team to come into the E-Club World Cup. They topped the group. However, you can throw that out the window. This is knockout football. This is the grand final. If Direwolves were to win, as you said, Rich, it'll be 2-0 and it'll be 1 game away from concluding the game. Of course, Atlantide Wave kicking from left to right in this one. Pele looking to get Marco for one of the first chances he's seen so far in the game. Defended well by Direwolves.
Don't know if you remember back to yesterday, but Maldini was giving away a lot of penalties. Brandon, who's at centre-back for Marco? Just a quick one. Just let me know who's playing right centre-back for him. I'll tell you, inform Kyle Walker.
Well, someone was listening to Richard Buckley. I didn't know if anyone would be, but someone's noted it down and put him in the team. And the reason why is we've spoken about, these are a different account that these guys have been able to use for this tournament, where they can use any prime icon, any team of the year, hence why Virgil van Dijk's come into it. At home for online qualifiers, FIFA 21 Global Series events, there are restrictions in place which limit the amount of icons and the other players you can use. Chance early on for Dylan! And there's one man that's a must in any of these teams. It's that man, Prime R9, who strikes right and puts DW Dylan up by a goal to nil with just 17 minutes on the clock.
Huge goal for Dylan. Gives him something to potentially hold on to, something to build upon as well in this pivotal Game 2 matchup right here on the Xbox. Direwolves Dylan putting Marco under immense pressure.
Something that's fresh on my mind is that qualifier too. Oceania grand final, him against Marcus Gomes. Remember that one? The penalty shootout drama.
Unbelievable game.
Of course, congratulations to Marcus on that result. That would have been in his back of his mind though for Dylan. Wants to go and win the E-Club World Cup. R9 nearly with the perfect pivot on the ball. I just feel like there's going to be goals in this one, Rich, and lots of them. Marco looking to restore some hope in Atlantide Wave. Lovely turn. Ronaldo drops the shoulder. Half a drag back. Still in possession with it. Pull it. Finds Pele, he drops the shoulder, it's a heavy touch, it will be a goal kick in the end.
You just see the face cam right there. Even though it's only a goal kick, Dylan just taking a couple of seconds. Little hand rub with the towel, composing himself, keeping calm. It's those little things that really sort of show how in control of his emotions he is. Gorilla, very, very similar. Every time he gets a pause, it will be relax, hand rub with the towel, play.
Well, as we said, it doesn't matter how you win these games. They're simply individual legs. There isn't an aggregate scoreline. There isn't sort of second chance. Ronaldo couldn't get around that one. Whoa, 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 be very careful. In the box. There's Kyle Walker. He makes the starting 11 for Marco. Marco made 2 out of the 3 qualifiers this year in the Global Series. Top 6 finishes in both. No surprise, another major outing for Atlantide Wave. Certainly good value for money to any esports organisation that are entering the Oceania esports space. A must-have on your team.
Not only Kyle Walker getting the nod, but headliners James Tavernier at right back as well. The Rangers fullback.
It's players that, as you said, you see at home. Maybe that's what it is for him. He's accustomed to those players. He trusts those players.
Not only that, but they're also very good as well. I mean, Tavernier, incredible fullback. Kyle Walker, one of the best centre-backs in FIFA. You can take all the icons and he's still right up there. Before the players submitted the squads that they wanted for this event, Pramaco moments weren't available. That's why moments aren't in the squads. It's a centre-back pairing, actually, of prime Carlos Alberto and informed Kyle Walker for Marco. With Alfonso Davies, team of the year, over at left-back.
5 minutes before half-time. Currently, Direwolves up by a goal to 0, and as you said, they have got 1 win next to their name also in this series, in the best of 5. Looking to build upon that. Watch that run from R9. It could be 2 for Dylan. It will be 2 goals for DW Dylan. R9 with a first half brace.
Well, this is not what we expected coming into this game. The underdogs coming out roaring. Shall I say the Underwolves? $2-0 up just before half-time. Marco with a lot to do in this second half. Could be 3. Cristiano Ronaldo on the edge of the box. Elastico finesse shot. Great save.
Just looking back, as you said, so these two teams have played countless handful of times in online qualifiers and whipped into the box. Could be another punched away. Marco looks frustrated. You can understand why. Ball back into the box again. It's 3-0. Then you can understand the frustration there. You look at Edwin van der Sar, who just doesn't look like he's
even playing.
I mean,
unbelievable. Team of the year, Kylian Mbappe. On the stroke of half-time. 3-0 up. 3-0 at half-time. This is...
I think Marco there, Rich, is saying, Edwin van der Sar, get 2 hands on that ball. Come and claim that area. He punched it back into danger. Pele then headed it into the feet of Mbappe. And that's team of the year Mbappe, where, as you know, anything can happen at the end of the day. 3-0. We knew we were going to see goals, but 3 of them? Is there a way back?
I said it yesterday, and I'm going to stick to my point. 3-0 in a one-legged game of FIFA is almost impossible to turn around. Almost impossible. And we've only got 45 minutes left to play. Never mind 60, 75 minutes. Yeah. Marco has to go now, and it has to be quick. It has to be fast. It has to be an instant reply, almost straight from kickoff if he wants to get back into this game. Because Dylan is cruising and will be putting Direwolves 2-0 up in this best of 5. They'll need one more win.
Yeah, as we said, and we'll say it again and again and again. In the online conferences, they didn't win. In the group stages, they didn't win. In the grand final, they're on for a done him 3, Rich. If they win this game, they'll be 2-0. And it'll go back to the hands of JMK. He'll be playing against Naylor. And I mean, that would be sort of pressure FIFA in the nicest way possible. That is a must-win game. I mean, Atlantide Wave can still turn this around. Even if they lose the first two, they can take it to a best of 5. They've got an incredible 3-win streak. But at the moment, it all seems like Dire Wolves' chance for a comeback. And oh my days!
He just sliced it in his own net.
But who was that? I'm going to say it's lucky it's not Maldini, otherwise you would be on his back. I think it was Carlos Alberto.
That is outrageous.
I can't believe that's happened.
I've got no words. I don't know what to say. He just sliced it in his own net from, what, about 4 yards out? We talked about a quick goal needed. Talk about the mental side of FIFA. Dylan will be absolutely fuming right now, and Marco looking to build his game.
Oh my days! How the tables are turning! 9 minutes in! Carlos Alberto with an own goal, and Virgil van Dijk lucky not to be in the book right now. Up steps the penalty, and it's nearly for R9 to take. Will be saved!
Cannot write this. You simply cannot write this right now. Penalty gets awarded. Marco slots it to the left. Goalkeeper gets down. Great save. Pressure still building from Marco.
Dylan having to deal with all sorts of adversity right now. Maybe quite a harsh penalty, an own goal. Carlos Alberto in those sort of areas. It's an icon at the back.
We've got to see that goal at the end of the game. We have to see that
clear
goal.
That ball, not into your own goal. We might have even been Tavernier, actually. Either or, still unbelievable players that should not be doing that. That penalty goes in though, Richard. What a different game this could honestly be. Wow.
A 10-minute turnaround. Went in at half-time, 45th minute. 3-0 down. Inside 10 minutes, it could have been 3-2.
Mbappe back to Ronaldo. The best thing that Dylan can do is go and restore that lead. Elastico! Pele! Absolutely incredible in the final third. Elastico into the finish. And there's a 3-goal cushion reinstated, Richard.
Fantastic goal from Pele right there. We saw Naylor looking for that Elastico inside the first game against JMK King. Perfect use of the skill move right there. Very smart finish. Talk about Pele up the other end now. Marco across the box. Ronaldo with the goal. 4-2. What a game we've got on our hands right here.
6 goals and we're still not done yet. We knew there was going to be goals in this. They have provided so many sort of really tightly contested games throughout this process, we said. They drew 1-1 in the groups. Maybe not so many goals in that game, but certainly it was a contested one.
The question is, how does Dylan want to play this game right now? With 20 minutes left to play, does he look for more goals, or does he play the clock? Does he play the time game?
Does he try and take the sting out of this game?
That's an awful pass.
Brilliant ball. He's having it all the way from fullback. Could be a chance for Marco. These are the areas where he has to be clinical. Pull it. Ronaldo trying to find the interchanges, trying to find the pockets of space. Ronaldo goes down to ground. Referee says no foul. Brilliant reverse Elastico. And Mbappe can't find the feet of R9. And Dylan does well, just about to defend that one. And now he's got space. Lots of it, in fact. Ronaldo's in the box. Mbappe's there as well. Pele does well to delay and take minutes out of the game. Look at the space. If you can just see his run, Mbappe. Well, it was just pushing that line up. Goes for the directional nutmeg, wins the ball back, Marco, and he'll have another chance to get forward.
So many offside traps played there from Marco in that quick succession. Just constantly pushing the line up, pushing the line up.
Still time, there will be chances. Can he find a way through this defensive wall of white shirts? R9, brilliant block at the back. Chance to get the ball clear.
What a win.
That's a brilliant win. To conclude the game as well. If you can find it, Arnan into Mbappe. It's going to be a penalty, probably a red card for Vieira. Gets it yellow. I think Dylan's saying, how is that not a red card? Up steps Pele to put the game to bed and to make it 2-0. No!
Somehow, that's not found its way into the back of there. It looked like it hit the post and bounced back off Van der Sar. You see the live shots of the players as that penalty was missed right there. 10 minutes remaining for Marco to turn this tie around. If not, Direwolves Dylan will be putting his side 2-0 up in this grand final. An unbelievable performance from both players as well. Look, coming into this game, didn't know really what to expect from JMK King. He did the business in the first game, kept a clean sheet, 1-0 win. Very, very professional performance, defensively so sound. Direwolves, Dylan in this game, free scoring. 4 goals in a one-legged game of FIFA is a rarity.
There's 7 minutes left, that's an awful pass. I mean, it's easy to look back on what could have been ifs and buts and maybes. Penalty that may have gone in for Marco would have only meant he's 1 goal behind. Didn't looking to conclude the tie. A long ball forward, a very long ball forward. Wins it in the air. Beats Alphonso Davies to the ball. Everything going his way, so it seems. Ball into the box. You'd like to think Sadio Mane, awful cross. But that's not going to matter. You've got a 2-goal cushion to sit on with 4 minutes left. And as you said, Direwolves will be 2-0 in this best of 5. What a final performance this has been in the grand final when it matters. One more, if you can find it. Not going to matter. Added time to come now. Just keep the ball for Dylan. Just a minute. Richard Buckley. The pressure now goes onto the shoulders of both of these two players. JMK wins. They will be your Zone 1 FIFA E Club World Cup champions. Naylor has to win if there's any chance of a remarkable comeback.
And really no pressure on JMK King. He's 2-0 up, he's cruising coming into this third game right here. Potentially the third and final game. For Naylor, all the pressure in the world put on his shoulders after 2 defeats in a row from Atlantide, I should say, Wave.
Yeah.
2 losses in a row. 2-0 down going into game 3. And JMK King potentially going to be the final player in Oceania, in Zone 1 to play here in the FIFA E Club World Cup. What 2 games? 2 completely different games as well. A 1-0 defensive masterclass and then an unbelievable action-packed end-to-end game between Marco and Dylan, and that's what the Club World Cup can throw up.
It can. I mean, even though we're not playing 2v2 FIFA, even though we're not all here in person, you know, in these studios in London at the moment, you are still getting that same team performance has come out where both players have to pull their weight. It's that simple. And someone that really has pulled their weight, as you can see on the scores in front of us, JMK, certainly first and foremost. And then that performance from Dylan in a game that gave us everything. Penalties, own goals. I mean, if we get to see the highlights again, that own goal was awful, to be quite frank.
I don't know what happened on that own goal. I'll be completely honest with you. I've watched a lot of FIFA. A lot of FIFA in my time. I've played a lot of FIFA. I still don't know what happened. I can't explain it.
I don't know who it was. Was it Tavernier? Was it Carter-Bat? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. How you slice that ball that much that it goes into the top corner. I mean, it was a finish that any striker would be proud of, in all honesty. But yeah, that is the second match done and dusted. We'll have a quick look at that goal again. I mean, Rich, can you break this one down for me?
Probably not, but we can try. He's gone down the wing. Mbappe puts the ball across the box. And he just boots it in his own net, Carlos Alberto. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't, Brandon.
You don't know what to say from that. I mean, we don't. I'm sure there's 2 people that do know what to say about that. We're going to throw it back over to Layla and Spencer that can break down that brilliant goal.
Not sure I know what to say, but I do know that we should probably go right back to the beginning of the show and redo the whole thing, because we've teed up our underdogs versus the favourites. Even Dire Wolves themselves talking about how they saw Atlantide Wave going all the way. Maybe we're not seeing that anymore.
Well, they positioned it perfectly, didn't they? Because they painted themselves as the underdogs and they took the pressure off themselves, and it's worked perfectly, you know. The first game was a little bit tighter than that last one, I think. Marco will be kicking himself, that penalty. If he scores that first penalty right at the start of the second half, suddenly he's gone from 3-0 down to 3-2 in the space of a few minutes. It's game on. Obviously, he missed that penalty. It was saved. And then we saw his counterpart, Dylan, go and get a goal at the other end. So it's not looking good for the Atlantide guys. They have to win every single leg now. 3 matches in a row. They're definitely capable of it, because a lot of us were predicting they would do that from minute 1 and go and win the first 3 and get it done, which obviously haven't done. But whatever happens from this point on, you have to say to the Dire Wolves, fair play, because they have made a proper game of this. Maybe we made them too much of an underdog. Maybe they made themselves too much of an underdog, because they still qualified here. They deserved their seat at the table, and clearly so. So, I mean, there's no pressure for them. They've got 2 games. They can literally just not pick up the controller if they don't want to. They can just sit there and then go for the big one at the end if they want, which would be great for the neutral. It wouldn't be great to see them not play, but it'd be great to have it go to the 5th one now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think Richard Buckley's summary of I don't know what happened is just perfect for this. But I do want to ask you, what happened to Atlantide? What are they doing wrong?
I think the first game was a very tight match, and obviously there was that one goal for JMK King, which wasn't a great goal. You know, he got himself in the box. He had a couple of shots, a couple of rebounds. He's not going to miss when it falls to him like that in the end. But he did nullify the attack really well, and that's what ultimately earned him the chance to score that goal and get that win. But it's a very close game. I think we see those guys play again in a minute, and anything could happen in that game. I wouldn't say that that's decisive there, but we did always think that Dylan maybe had a slight edge on Marco. You know, they're very close in the rankings, 6th and 7th in the rankings. So they're neck and neck. Dylan's edged it. They drew in the group stage. Dylan's won that one there. They only have to. That game again is going to happen in 2 matches' time. If Dylan wins it, it doesn't matter what happens in JMK King's games now. So even if Naylor comes out and wins this match, it doesn't actually matter. It's actually flipped, because it started this process with us saying the PlayStation games are going to decide it, but now you could actually argue it's the Xbox games if JMK King doesn't get another win.
Dire Wolf went into the half-time 3-0 up. We saw Marco getting more frustrated. We do have some highlights to have a look at as well. Talk to me about... Well, actually, let's talk through these highlights first, and then I want to hear about how Marco must be feeling.
It's a great start to the first half, wasn't it, for Dylan, who's just not messing about, not wasting any time to get his goals, and an absolute plethora towards the end of the first half. I mean, a bit of a collapse, to be honest, from the 42nd minute onwards for Marco. He won't be happy with this goal. Great first touch, gets the shot across the keeper. So 3-0 in a half-time. Fair play to Marco, though, because he came out second half, all guns blazing, gets this goal from it is a crazy one. I can only imagine that Dylan's trying to clear it with his defender there, and because he's off balance, he's done it, but I can't explain it. This one, lovely bit of skill. You've missed a penalty, obviously, in between that was missed, and that made it 4-1. That was my favourite goal of the match-up. That's an absolute... If you get that ball in that area, it's a dead cert of a goal. And Marco did do that, but he didn't do it enough, unfortunately, and he's dropped the game.
So we saw Marco get frustrated after the first half, going into that at 3-0, and then, Dylan helped his frustrations by gifting him with an own goal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't allow for that. It can happen, but you need to make sure you score enough goals at the other end to even it out, which he obviously did. And Dylan, Marco's always been a player that plays with his heart on his sleeve. When it's going great, he lets you know. When it's not going so great, he lets you know. And he now has to hope that his teammate gives him a chance to play again, because he might not get another game.
Well, luckily we saw Dylan, heard about Dylan's composure, and hopefully he'll manage it now. And we're going to go on to our 3rd game. It's back over to our casters, Richard and Brandon.
Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, I mean, it's funny we talk about this being done in 3, because we've got like a spare screen in front of us, and there's just 3 games at the moment. We might need 3 games, in all honesty. If they go and win again, Dire Wolves, they will be your Zone 1 FIFA E Club World Cup champions. Not only the champions in this zone, in this region, and for their team, $13,000 in their back pocket as well. However they're going to split that, we'll talk about that later on. I'm sure that's for them to understand as well. But what a story this has been. We talk about the underdog story. We talk about these guys coming in as the underdogs. They finished 2nd in their group. Of course, it was a top 2 finish you needed. But they did struggle every time they played against this team in Atlantide Wave. In the final, they haven't struggled.
Atlantide Wave needs Naylor to step up to the plate right now.
And I think there's no one else to do it than him.
They need him. If you're an Atlantide Wave fan, you need Naylor to stand up and be accounted for. Show the difference in the Global Series rankings. Show your quality on the biggest stage, because you're 2-0 down and you are holding out for a miracle. There is a potential for a reverse sweep. They can turn this around. They've got the games to do it, but
they have to
win. We're going to have to see more than what we did in the first game.
As Richard said, this is a best of 5. So if Atlantide Wave were to win this game, would go, of course, then back over to the Xbox, where Marco against Dylan would be another fixture for the second time. And if they were to win that again, we will be going to a 5th game.
Lots of ifs and buts.
And a lot of FIFA still to be played. From JMK, he sort of caught his celebratory moment. Said he played sick, said he played well. There's got to be more of that. Atlantide Wave kicking from left to right in this game. Didn't score across the 90 minutes, did Naylor. That's got to change for him. Maybe with an early goal by Cristiano Ronaldo. That's exactly what he needs.
The goal itself was quite fortunate, but that dribbling, the Lacquerqueta cancel, he did about 5 in a row. Incredible from Naylor. We said that he had to stand up and be accounted for. And we are seeing that performance for him right now. Done inside 6 minutes, what he couldn't do in 90 in the first game, and that's get a goal on the board for Atlantide Wave.
He couldn't do that for 90 minutes. In the first game, and that's what the story was. That's what the facts were. Coming into this before this grand final, this was the weaker side. It was, from the facts we've seen, you can see Naylor's run in this. Currently sits 2nd as well in the Global Series rankings. The only player that's made all 3 qualifiers in that Global Series. That's his run in. His bracket chance on the flip side. For JMK, he's trying to find the right combinations between the two Ronnies, R9 and Cristiano Ronaldo. But quick look at that, Rich. 6 wins, 2 away wins, 8 wins in total. 26 goals Atlantide Wave. That's in total they were able to pick up in that. They have been scoring goals for fun.
They're a very sort of attack-heavy team. We didn't see that in the first game. JMK King defended impeccably. Well, it looks like we've already seen 1 breach. There might be a few more of that defence if Naylor can have his way.
Sure that JMK wouldn't have thought we'd be in this position in a grand final. An absolute dream story for him this year in the competitive landscape.
Bruno
For save, I'm sure he'll be looking to save.
See that just rolling out of play right there. This opening 20 minutes, majority of this time we've seen has been spent inside Direwolf's half, and that's defending for JMK. Naylor coming forward yet again. Cristiano Ronaldo. You see that Lacquerqueta cancel? He's so smooth with it. Just to turn his body very quickly in short and tight areas inside the box. R9, reverse elastico. Looking to get past Patrick Vieira. He's standing up to the icon. Ball bounces back for Hullet.
And that's what these pros will do. It's become so accustomed to them, isn't it? So easy. They get into those repetitions of... I think, this year the cancel skill moves came in, didn't they? And it's where... That's been the extra element that pros have used to really make themselves unpredictable in the final third. You see it from the best players. You saw it in a handful of occasions. Let's just point out Nicholas, for example. Unfortunately, did not get through to the grand final. Made it to the semis with FC Basel and his teammate in Spidercon. What the pros will do to get an advantage in the box in the final third. JMK looking for an equaliser. Didn't really need that sort of skill pass from R9. 30 minutes played at the moment. Naylor of Atlantide Wave up by a goal. So that's how the group finished. As we said, these were, top 2 teams go through. It's as simple as that. We didn't see Melbourne City or Team Footwiz make it into the final 2. Only a point separating the 2. However, when they did play, it was an overall win for Atlantide Wave in the groups. That has also been the storyline that we've been following heading into this grand final. Hence why when we saw Dire Wolves go up with 2 wins to their name, it was a little bit of a shock to everyone.
Yeah, Team Foot with Australia, not the best of zones for that particular organisation, but the other 3, Melbourne, Dire Wolves and Atlantide, all should be very happy with their performance. Melbourne crashing out via a point.
Naylor looking for a second, looking for another goal to build upon that. Obviously best of 5, the grand finals here. They must win, Naylor. Atlantide Wave, I should say, to stay in this matchup. Still potential they could turn the whole thing around on its head. That would be a remarkable story in our first of six zone finals. Pele defended well again. Davies back to R9. Still just about with it. Chance round the corner. So far, so good, Richard, for Naylor. It's a case of he had to come out and just win the game.
Yeah, it's been a very good first 45 minutes for Atlantide Wave. When you consider also the stakes up for grabs as well.
The pressure.
Yeah. Chance.
This is nice from JMK. Nice, back to Hullet! And back to an even playing field.
Huge goal just before half-time. Rude Hullet. A man we see in every single squad when there are no restrictions. Prime Rude Hullet. Goal scorer, defender, midfield maestro. With a huge goal for Dire Wolves to tie up this potentially final match in our Zone 1 finals. At half-time, 1 apiece between these two. It's got 45 minutes. It could go to extra time and penalties and still win, and that's it. We're done. Naylor has to win this game.
It's as simple as that, as you said. Naylor has to win if there's any chance to continue this best of 5. You can see the scores in front of us. First game was a win to JMK, who's playing right now against Naylor. He kept him quiet for 90 minutes. Second game, 4 goals to 2. It was a game that gave us penalties and pretty much everything between Marco and Dylan. And currently right now the scoreline at 1-1 between these two players. Naylor started off very well, scored a goal in 5 minutes. That would have settled the nerves for him. I mean, how much? He's 45 minutes away from either keeping his team in this best of 5 or, on the flip side, JMK will be a hero and will win his team the FIFA E Club World Cup in Zone 1. They will be the champions of this zone.
We'll see a substitution at half-time there as well. Pele coming off for informed Neymar. For Naylor.
This is nice. Ronaldo into R9. Nice scoop turn around the corner. Does well. Reverse Elastico back to Pele. Oh, that was near enough. A very fortunate bounce back. Schmeichel spreads himself well. Brilliant save.
See that back post, he's pulled away at the back post. Schmeichel just does enough. Ball bouncing around though still.
Still in possession. Fernandez tries to drop the shoulder and find a way through. But what's the save from Schmeichel, Richard? That could have been 2 goals to 1.
Yeah, the ball found its way to Pele, just bundling around the box. Schmeichel spreading himself, as he did so often in real life. Making himself as big as possible. You'd still expect Pele to find the back of the net, in all honesty, from that angle, whether it's near post or into that far post past the goalkeeper, but couldn't evade the shot stopper.
Naylor, first chance in the second half to remember. JMK is literally potentially next goal he scores, if it was the winner, that's a $13,000 goal. That's how much they'll win. In zone 1, they're already 2 wins next to name in this best of 5. They win this game. It's game, set, and match. Congratulations, they're the first zone winners. Here's Bruno Fernandes to maybe make that happen. R9. His time just gets absolutely bundled over by Virgil van Dijk. Referee says, no, that's a fair tackle. Didn't really look like a tackle, it looked like a wrestle.
He just threw him to the floor, didn't he? Virgil. It's good to see the Virgil van Dijk in squads as well, because we've not seen him online at all. Great to see him with these unlocked accounts in the starting 11 and dominant as ever at the back as well.
You expect that, don't you, from sort of how tall he is, sort of in-game build is like no other defender, so it seems and feels normally. That's that team of the year he's got. That's some incredible stats.
You very rarely get a centre-back so big and powerful, but also so quick as well. And in those two particular areas, he excels a lot of other great defenders. So he can catch up to the strikers, but he can also out-strength and out-physical a lot of those attacking players.
We're 20 minutes away here. We'll say it again and again. Atlantide Wave have to win this game. As we said, we go to extra time if need be. We will just find a winner, as we always have in this format. JMK can snatch a late one. They will be your Zone 1 champions.
Look in the centre of the pitch. He's just pulling away there. He's waiting with Bruno and Hully for R9 to just peel away from his marker.
It's about the timing of that run, the player switch. You can see Bruno Fernandes being mainly controlled now. Alphonso Davies now. A very strong tackle. As Reece James, of all, future star item into the team for Naylor. Chance to break, near enough, 10 more minutes played already. We're edging slowly and slowly towards extra time, but there is still plenty of time left. This 10 minutes will feel like a lifetime. Actually recycling the ball from left to right across the back line. Waiting for the right time to strike for Naylor. We said the only players that's really made 3 out of 3 online qualifiers in the FIFA 21 Global Series this year, sits second on those rankings. He has been a standout player this year. We need to see a standout performance now if there's any chance to save his team. Have to win to take us into another game. We go back to the Xbox if that was to be the case. JMK now. Poor pass from Carlos Alberto is way out of position. It's going to be a case of building into the last attack now.
Waiting for that clock to sort of dwindle down. As soon as it gets to 90 and you see the stoppage time put up, he'll go forward very quick to try and get the final chance in the game to ensure victory for Atlantide Wave.
Looks like that chance will fall to Naylor. Has he got enough left in the tank in the form of a goal? R9 back to Ronaldo. Brilliant tackle at the box there. Have to be so careful. We're going to extra time. 30 more minutes needed in this third game in the best of 5. The situation is still exactly the same, Richard. Direwolves win. They are your Zone 1 champions. Naylor wins. We go back to the Xbox and the score will be 2-1 in game. Still 2 Direwolves in front.
Just having a quick look at the changes being made here. 4-2-3-1 being deployed. It looks like Bruno Fernandes going to slot into CDM. Mbappe as a right attacking midfielder. You see the custom tactics and instructions. Let's have a look at the 2 goals in this game that we've seen so far. This decisive game 3. It was a quick start from Naylor, part of Atlantide Waves. Quite fortunate to bounce off the tackle there with Cristiano Ronaldo, putting 1-0 up inside the first 6 minutes. However, just before half-time, you see R9 and Cristiano Ronaldo linking up. Ball finds its way to Hullet inside the box, who rifles that strike on the left foot into the top corner.
We always say it, Richard. That's what it's about. Not just that player to break up the plays, the complete midfielder. Can also go forward and score goals. On the flip side for JMK, it's Cruyff that will come on to that starting 11. Pele comes off. Landside wave, Naylor now with Mbappe. Teasing Alphonso Davies, a couple of hill-to-hills, and this little combination of skill moves. Neymar fresh off the bench, directional nutmeg round the corner. This is nice from the Brazilian. Lovely cut back, chance, Ronaldo!
Took him 5 minutes at the start of the game. It's took him 5 minutes in extra time. Same scorer, Cristiano Ronaldo, finding the back of the net for Atlantide Wave.
It's a brilliant goal. A fantastic goal. I mean, you break it down into those individual moments there from players, Richard. The skill moves were right. He was so patient. And it was all about getting the ball into the box, getting it into the feet of R9 or Cristiano Ronaldo. That time it was Ronaldo. CR7, in fact. Just squeezed it in the near post, didn't it?
And again, the pressure put back on JMK King.
Difference is, not so much time to find an answer. Brilliant directional nutmeg. Alphonso Davies trying to find the smallest of gaps. Near enough did. 10 minutes played off the 30 of extra time here. Two goals to one. Atlantide Wave lead. Stays like this. We'll be going back for a fourth game in this best-of-5 series. Before to Marco and Dylan. To decide what happens in the final couple of games. Ronaldo back to CR7, back to R9. Might get a second bite of the cherry if he's lucky. Minute of added time to be played here in extra time. Long ball over the top. Mbappe might latch on to that one. Goes for the first time fake. Shot goes back to Schmeichel. Nearly a stitch up at the back, and that will do us for half time in extra time.
Could have been disastrous right there as that ball was bouncing around the box. 15 minutes remaining for Dire Wolves JMK King. He only needs one goal to send it to a penalty shootout. He can win on a penalty shootout, and they will be crowned champions of Zone 1.
You just see Marco sort of like POV here on a side screen in our commentary booth. He's ready to go again if he needs to. His team's all set up, ready to be played with your favourite Kyle Walker in there. Kyle Walker, I should say. If it stays like this for 15 more minutes, that will be the case, and we'll go to a fourth game in this one. That's why it's played over best of 5.
You see Eusebio being brought onto the pitch right there. Player that you wouldn't necessarily have in your starting team. Whether he would be an icon at home in those sort of requirements either, probably not. But when you've got every single player at your disposal and you need a goal in the final 15 minutes, Eusebio, the man to call on.
You don't often see players, use subs that late as well. I mean, not everyone expects to go to extra time, no doubt, but you normally see him sort of come onto the pitch around the 60th, 70th minute.
Wayward.
Nearly there was a gap for Bruno Fernandes. You can see Naylor asking for a bit more from his players. Don't blame him. 10 minutes left. JMK scores a goal. We could go to a penalty shootout to decide this. Cruyff. Off the bench for him, Eusebio. These are fresh legs. These are fresh icons into the team. This is nice from Bruno Fernandes. Maybe didn't need that touch. Tried to sort of just buy away past Alphonso Davies.
I don't think he was looking for that. I think he was looking for a directional nutmeg. Just got the wrong animation, but he will have another chance.
Options in the box, flooded into the box. Ronaldo, Elastico, still in possession. Lovely heel to heel. Ooh, never that could have been. Maybe been a penalty. We'll go out for a goal kick. Pressure Comes to nothing there. 5 minutes away. Building, though, isn't it?
He'll get one good chance. He'll have one more opportunity. Will JMK, and it's going to come right now.
It's a poor pass from Ronaldo. Could have been into a fresh Eusebio. Plays that ball forward. Wins the ball back. Pressure. Now back on. Atlantide Wave. And Naylor. Could this be the chance? Cruyff. Elastico went the wrong way with it.
Hit the reverse Elastico into the defender. Naylor standing strong at the back. And that potentially, that potentially could have been the final roll of the dice.
If he wins this header, there'll be one more chance. Vieira.
No.
Just doesn't win that one, does the R9 does well. It's not done yet. Atlantide Wave hang in this best of 5 with a must-win game from Naylor in the end. 2 goals to 1. It needed extra time to settle it, Richard. A goal in the 5th minute, a reply from Hullet, from JM King, and then 5 minutes after the restart in extra time, that only goal in the end coming from Ronaldo. One of the best goals, no doubt. Really, really well taken. There was chances at the end, a late introduction of Cruyff and Eusebio we thought may have asked questions of Naylor. It did, but luckily enough for him, he answered all of those.
When we were talking about this game in the preview, when we were talking about it in between legs, even off air earlier on today, we said it's going to be decided on the PlayStation between Atlantide Waves and JMK King. That's not the case. It's going to be decided on the Xbox games. We did not expect this because Marco against Dylan, very, very sort of just such an interesting game right now. Marco has to win. 2-1 down. If they get that win and go to 2-2, then we're in the final game. We're in that final game 5, and anything can happen in the game 5.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the scoreline in front of our very own eyes. 2-1 on the best of 5 as it looks. I mean, serious money up for grabs here. The first zonal winners in the FIFA E-Club World Cup. JMK won 1, lost 1. I mean, coming into it, we knew that was going to be the tougher leg for Direwolves on the PlayStation. Dylan goes and wins this next game in game number 4. They will be the winners. But Marco is going to be riled up for this one, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Especially how he'd lost that game. I think Spencer talks about it just after game 2. He's a very sort of... He plays with his heart on his sleeve in every facet of FIFA. Whether he's winning, whether he's losing, you can see it on his face. He's a very vocal player. And I think he'll probably need Naylor to be there for him, or whether they've got a coach at Atlantide as well, just to calm it down, just to relax the situation and really get Marco in that winning mindset. It's very much the case of if he's in the right mindset, he's got all the opportunity in the world to win this game. But if not, I think Dylan, he'll get this wrapped up for Direwolves and it'll be 3-1.
Yeah, incredible stuff. As we said, what a start to our sort of finals weekend here in the FIFA E-Club World Cup. A different format this year. We're looking to crown 6 different zonal winners. Incredible stuff. I mean, this is only Oceania first and foremost. Later today, we'll have Middle East and Africa, and then we'll conclude Saturday with some South American FIFA action. As we said, we've got plenty more games to come in this best of 5, but there's someone that wants to break down a couple of those goals from the games we've seen so far.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, I want to focus on the 2 Naylor goals in that game and why he's been so highly tipped as a top attacking player. We've heard him referred to by Peter as the Australian Tex. Let's see why. OK, we're going to play this out because this actually came from kickoff. We've joined it a bit later. 17 passes strung together. We knew that he had to come out Naylor and win this game or else it was over. And look at the attacking intent. Now, these are the passes we're talking about. I'm going to stop it in a minute. We're going to focus on particularly his ability to keep cool under pressure, particularly when he's outnumbered. This is where I want to stop it here. So Ronaldo's got the ball. Let's start looking at some of these defensive numbers. So we've got a back 4 there. We've got another 3 the other side of it. So what have you got? You've got these 2 attacking players pretty outnumbered in there. It's 2 against 7, OK? How can he score from this situation? It is about composure. It's about skill moves. It's about linking them up and waiting and slowly working your way nearer to the goal, which is what we're going to watch him do. Look at the way he links up these La Croquetas here. You know, if you pause it again here, how many times have we seen those images of a Messi when he's got 4 or 5 defenders around him, and you think, how can one man be so hard to tackle? We're seeing the same thing again here. I mean, look, we've got Ronaldo sticking out like a sore thumb here in the middle. Again, let's count these defenders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah? He's got 1 teammate helping him, Ronaldo, but he's going to do it all on his own. He's going to keep that ball, push that defensive line back, eventually find his teammate, which is going to lead to a goal. But on paper, he should never be allowed to do this. You would have to ask questions about the defending. How has he been able to keep using these skill moves to find space? Patiently finding the other Ronaldo here. Again, little fake shot, finds a space. Maybe some questions made about Van Dijk then, whether he should have done better in defence. So that was the first goal, put him in the lead, straight from kickoff. Moving on to the ultimately decisive goal here. We're going to let this play again as well. Keeps the ball really well. Very relaxed in attack. This one's going to be about how we can keep the ball in dangerous areas again, particularly in the box, which is where you do not want to let someone loose, obviously. So if we have a little look at it again here, so he's just going to work his way into the box. Right, again, look at the numbers. So defensively, we have 1, 2, I've lost my 1, but it's one more than that. 5 defenders in the box, if you include the man on the edge there. Only 2 attackers. He's only got the man on the ball and this man making his way. So on paper, he shouldn't be able to score from this. Shouldn't be an option. He's going to wait for his chance. He's going to keep the ball a little bit in the box. He looks up. OK, maybe I haven't got the help I need. He's going to go back out. He's going to recycle. But at no point is he dispossessed. Constantly keeping the ball. Goes back to the man in the middle here, Bruno Fernandes. Plays it to the top of the box instead. Again, if we pause it at any moment, a little bit of an acceleration there to get some space. Look at the numbers. He's outnumbered once again. Defensively, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got a little bit more help this time, but he keeps finding a way. Gets it to the top of the box, waits for his turn, finds the man in the middle, which he shouldn't be able to find. Again, look at the numbers. There's 3 people between him and his teammate, but he's going to find him. And that's the easy part, right? Once he gets the ball in this area here, as long as he goes in the right direction, which he does, beating Van Dijk once again, the goal's going to go in. That's the reason that Naylor's been picked out as a top player from this region. Very composed in the box, very able to keep the ball under pressure, even if he's outnumbered, and score some great goals. So if he keeps doing that, then they've still got a chance, haven't they?
Absolutely. Well, we've seen the first 2 legs now, won by dire Wolves and shocking everyone. The third one being dragged to extra time and taken by Atlantide. Are the tables turning?
Yes, in theory. I mean, the problem is because of the way they started Atlantide, they're never going to have any moment to relax now. They have to win every single game they play. So it's very, very brutal, kind of knockout FIFA, if you like, and the pressure's on Marco now. If you look at the first game they played, these 2, it was 4-2. Marco maybe could have scored another goal with that penalty miss, but there was a penalty miss on the other side as well. So I would say that it's quite nicely situated for Dylan at the moment. Marco needs to turn things around.
Tell me a little bit about JMK King's mentality, because obviously he started that game with an early goal, second half straight in there again. He's wanting to secure it, isn't he?
Yeah, for JMK King in that game, both games, he's done himself very proud, I would say. Even though he's lost that one, it was a tight match-up. And the first one was very tight, and people were saying, I was saying, to be honest, there was a big gap between them in terms of rankings, 30-odd positions on the rankings. So he's kind of, for me, he's addressed that now, and he's shown that he's more than worthy of his opponent. But yeah, it's not about the PlayStation, it's about the Xbox now. This game is huge, and it is going to be on Marco. And Marco is a player, let me remind you, with a history in this tournament. Okay, he's done very well previously as a 1v1 player, as a part of a team as well. It's a new team here, but he needs to win it for them.
Well, Zone reporter Peter is on the line as well. I know you've been watching closely. Peter, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm a bit surprised. But,
surprised is an understatement, my friend.
Indeed, indeed.
So tell me, walk me through those games and your emotions there, because, yeah, surprised is an absolute understatement, isn't it?
Well, the game 1 between JMK and Naylor, it looked to me as a bit of a coming-of-age performance from JMK because, like Spencer just went through just before, Naylor's attacking play is extremely, extremely world-class. And to keep him goalless, amazing stuff. So, and I think he brought him a lot of confidence going into the second fixture just before, but obviously, unfortunately, just falling a bit short at the end there. Onto the Xbox side, I honestly cannot pick it. It's so close. Marco, he's the big name going in. Dylan, like we said in the rankings, he's just above him. So I really can't pick it. I hope for an exciting game. Hopefully a 6-all pen shootout. To just get all the emotions running high.
It would be amazing if it did go to the 5th game, particularly with the way it started. But, Peter, what are you putting the Dire Wolves' performance down to? Is it the fact that we all, yourself, me included, we all painted them as underdogs, didn't we? And we kind of took the pressure off them. They did the same thing in their VT before we started as well. Do you think that's helped them?
I reckon it has, definitely. I think it would have helped the players' mindsets individually going into the games because you know, when you don't put a lot of pressure on yourselves, you can go in and play carefree FIFA or carefree sport. And then on the flip side, Atlantide Wave going in as the top dogs, expected to win, you know, naturally they put more pressure on themselves. So that first game from JMK King coming out and getting that win for Dire Wolves would have, you know, settled their nerves immensely, and it would have helped Dylan, like you said earlier, being a team game. I know they don't play together, but that result would have done wonders for Dylan's confidence going into the game. And now again, Naylor getting that win will hopefully, you know, bring Marco, and, you know, he can bring a similar performance to what Dylan did in their first match.
Peter, now that we go into our fourth game on Xbox, could we see the experience and the sort of more confidence and rankings make the difference for Atlantide?
I think so, yes, but I think the experience should show here, and I'm asking the question to Marco now. You know, given his experience, he shouldn't really come out all guns blazing. At the end of the day, the game does start at 0-0. They do need to win, but he's not starting down, so he needs to just, I feel like, build himself into the game, whereas Dylan just needs to do what he's doing and doing so well.
Peter, I'll ask you for a prediction if that's all right. Let's go two ways, actually. What do you think is going to happen in this next game?
I'm going to go 2-1 Marco.
Okay, I thought you might say that. So, assuming Marco gets the win, then my next question is, what's going to happen in the fifth game?
Oh, you're killing me, Spence. I'm going to have to go Atlantide, pick it up and complete the reverse sweep. But it's all up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It'd be amazing if it happened, but I think, you know, the guys from Dire Wolves have earned the right to get an earlier win than that. Let's see if they can do it.
Peter, thank you very, very much. A reverse sweep, he's saying. I can understand absolutely your emotion and wanting Dire, or feeling like Dire Wolves deserve it, but deserving it and doing it are two very different things. Do you think they will? Well,
it's about the 5 games, if it goes to 5, right? Whoever deserves it will win. It's not a case now, if Dire Wolves let it go, that's not them being unlucky. It means that, you know, their opponents did really well, Atlantide, to get back in it. It's so hard mentally to come back from that. To lose those first few games, when you feel like you should have won, it's doubly disappointing, because you're obviously devastated you lost anyway, and you feel like you've almost been a bit embarrassed, to be honest, because everyone said you're the guys that are going to win. Yeah. So if they do turn it around from there, then fair play to them.
Really quickly, before we go back to the game, I like what Peter said as well about how it does start at 0-0 this next game. As a club manager as well, what would you be saying to Dire Wolves right now, and what would you be saying to Atlantide?
Dire Wolves have still got a free hit. Yeah. They've still got a free hit. They can lose this game. Previously, they'd probably be a little bit more concerned about going back to the PlayStation again, if it does, because of the apparent gap between the two players. But has that been equalised a little bit? They're very, very tight matches. You know, it took extra time. And it was a win in the other game. So I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned. But to be honest, I know what our friend Peter said there, but I actually think they're going to end it here. I don't think it's going to go to a fifth. I think I keep thinking of Tidal Wave because of the fact that they were going to come out and blow them away. But I think Atlantide are not going to get the win here. And I think the Dire Wolves are no longer the underdogs, underwolves, whatever. They're top dogs, top wolves. I think they're going to do it.
Well, we won't need to guess for very long. We're going straight back to the game, Atlantide versus Dire Wolves. Fourth leg of our Zone 1 finals.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, great to hear from Peter Sastanos as well, one of our fantastic zonal reporters for the FIFA E-Club World Cup. A man that knows this scene like nobody else. I mean, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but we've had a couple of mutters ourselves in the commentary booth that there could be that reverse sweep with how good Atlantide Wave have honestly been. And you feel like a couple of wins to get things moving, to get the momentum back into that group. Anything can happen. Marco wins this next game. We would be going to a fifth and final game. But this isn't any player. This is Dylan as well, and it's Marco. It's a real tough one to call.
If Marco wins this game, it looked nothing like winning the second game. So what's going to change now? We've got to see a completely different Marco than what played that match right there, because if it's the same Marco that comes out and you're 3-0 down at half-time, you can kiss the trophy goodbye. It's as simple as that. Dylan will win if Marco doesn't improve on what he did in that second game. And that win from Naylor becomes obsolete.
As we said, this is a best of 5. This is Zone 1 Grand Finals here in the FIFA E-Club World Cup. We're back underway for our fourth game in the series. It's currently 2 wins on the board for Dire Wolves. They won the first 2 games. JMK and Dylan. However, just 20 minutes ago, in game number 3, they did poor result back Naylor after extra time. Beat JMK 2-1, which saved them, in all honesty, Richard. It kept them in this grand final. They didn't win. It would have been Game, set and match. Congratulations, Dire Wolves. You are the Zone 1 winners in the FIFA E-Club World Cup. Now it's back to this one. A landside wave kicking from left to right with Marco. People saying about his experience needs to come out now. Peter Sana said, don't come out all guns blazing. This is a long old game. On the flip side for Dylan, just more of the same, please.
Not only is it a long old game, but you're starting at 0-0 as well. Just because they're down in the series doesn't mean that they're down in this individual game of FIFA. Usually, you're coming to a leg if you're down with an aggregate scoreline to overturn. You don't have to do that. You can win 1-0, and it's a win on the board no matter what. We're going to game 5. Just has to be better.
The best possible way to start would be to score the first goal. It was trailing by 3 goals to 0 at half-time. And these two played earlier today in the best of 5. When they played in the group, it was a 1-1 draw. A very tightly contested game. These are two players that had brilliant run-ins in the Global Series this year. And I mean, they sit next door to each other on those PlayStation rankings. Dylan sits 6th, Marco sits 7th. Both been involved in the same amount of online qualifiers this year also. Dylan coming so close just a couple of weeks back. If you remember that penalty shootout against Marcus Gomes, that would, of course, have been hurting him. In a case of get this on my mind now, an E-Club World Cup victory, that would be huge.
A little bit of sort of revenge as well, knocking Melbourne City out and progressing through in second for Dire Wolves.
Here's Marco. For that directional nutmeg around the corner of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's read well. It's defended even better by Dylan. $13,000 on the line to the winning team here in this zone. Where's that first goal going to come? Is it going to come in the form of a CR7 Team of the Year strike, as it's often been the case across the knockout stages yesterday in both Zone 4 and Zone 5. Quick word as well, Zone 6, that concluded late last night here in the UK. That's Complexity against New York City FC. That one coming up tomorrow. Complexity, Rich, winners last year, still involved in another grand final. Chance for Marco. Brilliant in the box from Ronaldo again. Even better defending.
Complexity looking for the back-to-back. Question is, who's going to be the first of our 2021 Club World Cup champions for Zone 1. 6 different champions crowned over the next 2 days.
This is leg number 4 in the best of 5. Currently 2 wins to 1 to Dire Wolves. They win this game, they will be, as you said, Rich, the first of 6 champions the 2021 FIFA Club World Cup. And they find a way through again, defending well, both players here. As you can understand, no one wants to make a mistake. No one wants to be the first players to go down by a goal to 0. Marco needs to score that first goal to get things ticking, to get things moving. Well won. Back line does look interesting for Marco. I don't know if Kyle Walker is still involved, in fact. I don't know if that was Reece James that sought one of the centre-back spots. Pele. Lots of space and lots of pace to use. Does well to send Alphonso Davies the wrong way. Very, very nervy game.
Great tackle. Speaking of Reece James, future start, stepping in, winning the ball back. This is exactly what you expected in a sort of winners match, shall we say, if Dire Wolves were to take this game. Both players in this first 45 not playing to lose, I think, more importantly. Not necessarily going all guns blazing, but defensively making sure that they don't throw the game away, just like Marco did in the first time these two matched in leg number 2, 3-0 down at half-time.
Yeah, that game finishing 4-2 in the end in the favour of Dillon. Wins the ball nicely now, R9. Back to it, lovely little bridge touch around the corner. Again, defensively strong, both these two. A bounce back will near enough fall the way of Pele. 45 minutes played here in game 4, Rich. 0-0. Neither player, in all honesty, I can't even think of a single shot that's been registered. You can see his teammate right now, JMK. I wonder how he's feeling. He's just got to sit back and watch this game unfold. As he said, if his teammate wins, they will be crowned champions in Zone 1.
So he looks pretty confident, saying hello to the stream as well. Hello, JMK, if you can hear us right now. He'll be very confident for his teammate. He can hear us right now. Can we get a big thumbs up? Forget about it.
Well, it's brilliant to see those reactions at the end of the day. On the flip side of that, I'm sure we'll see an outpour of emotion for a landside wave. They win this, we go to the decider.
I can guarantee Naylor's not as cheery as JMK.
They win this game, as you said, Rich. Pretty much a 2-2 scenario, a clean slate into game number 5. Where will the breakthrough come? Will it come for Dire Wolves? Speaking of Naylor, you can just see him at the bottom of your screen now.
Intently watching.
All eyes on this game, and you fully understand why. Please just win the game, we'll be saying. From what we've seen already a 10 times better defensive Marco performance here. He's not done anything wrong. You can see how he got him in the groups. Overall, that was Atlantide Waves qualifying rounds, I should say. The wins they picked up on the board.
Chance.
Chance to drive forward. This is Dillon. Waiting and waiting and waiting. Where's that pass going to come into R9, into Cristiano Ronaldo? This is nice, Mbappe. R9, back to CR7. Back inside to R9!
What a goal that is from Dillon. The Berber spin cancel, perfection inside the box. It was snappy, it was very, very crisp in the final third, that passing. One touch into feet, and then the finish, emphatic.
Well, as that goal just brought this tie to life now. Marco now on the ropes. Landside wave. 30 minutes away. From losing this game and finishing second place in Zone 1 in the FIFAe Club World Cup. That goal has been in the building process for a long time. Waiting and waiting and waiting. Brilliant combinations. CR7 into R9. Marco. His turn now. Pele. Again. Finding that right skill move that maybe he was looking for, the right combination. Look at the space to run into for now. Now it could be around the corner. Mbappe doesn't want to play it. Well delayed. Ronaldo could be in a running race with Virgil van Dijk. Wins the ball. Does well. Got Mbappe and R9 in support. Happy to go back. Happy just to keep things ticking. Doing everything he can to disrupt this team of Marco. To pull out the players like that. Pull out Reece James. Back to R9. Could be a chance. Finds the feet of Pele. Just can't squeeze that into Ronaldo.
20 minutes remaining. Marco needs a goal. Even if it's just one to send us into extra time. If you're an Atlantide Wave fan. If you're Naylor.
Marco, this is your chance now. Pull it. Just wants R9 or CR7 to be onside. Chance, Ronaldo, he'll still come on. Just by A pocket of space past Virgil van Dijk. Does so well to win that. 18 minutes away we are. The underdogs that they've called themselves throughout this whole tournament process. On their way to being champions in Zone 1. Awful touch from Ronaldo. Back to R9. Still R9. Well defended, Alberto.
I thought the one more pass just into the space there. Mbappe was lurking. Chance to counter for Marco.
Has to score. Has to find a way back in the tie. Alberto, find the cut back. Just can't find a way past Virgil van Dijk again down the opposite end.
Just running on fumes right there was Carlos Alberto. Absolutely no stamina left. Gives a free kick away inside his opponent's half with 10 minutes remaining. You see he's in the narrow. 4-1-2-1-2. Live shots of JMK. He's just so nervy right now. Dylan locked in. 10 minutes left.
If you can hear us, JMK, if you're a little bit nervous, just give us a nod. Maybe not.
In conversation.
No, not this time. 13,000, or maybe he heard us, I don't know. $13,000 he said. He is so close to winning. With his teammate in Dylan. All eyes on this game at the moment in Zone 1. 10 minutes and about 16 in-game seconds away.
You see Marco and Naylor right there. So much pressure on the shoulders of Atlantide Wave Marco. 10 minutes to get a goal to save the Club World Cup for Atlantide Wave.
To send us into a fifth game in this best of five. Wins the ball. Mbappe, can he find Ronaldo in the box? Maybe Eusebio off the bench. Sadio Mane also introduced. Pacey options in the final third. Just to help rattle down this time. Final 7 minutes now. Is there a way back or extra time needed for Marco? Ronaldo back to Neymar. Can't get the touch he wanted around the corner for Virgil van Dijk. And off the chest. And then Mbappe will be very high up the field though. Lots of opportunity to put pressure on. Through the defensive dire Wolves. They are minutes away here, Richard.
You'll have one more chance. Will Marco?
If he can win the ball back.
It's gone short.
Long ball forward, it's a risky one. Will go into the feet of Mane. This would certainly put the die to bed. Chance, Mane into Ronaldo! And you may as well call them champions now. In Zone 1. And you can see what it means to them both. Game, set and match. E-Club World Cup champions for Dire Wolves.
What a performance from both of these two players, doing what they needed to do on the big stage. Atlantide Wave, Marco coming forward potentially to try and get a late goal to spruce up this tie. It's not going to happen. What a win for Dylan and JMK.
They did not beat them in the online qualifiers. They did not beat them in the group stages. But this time round, it's all right. It's all perfect. Dire Wolves will be your Zone 1 winners in the FIFA E-Club World Cup. Congratulations.
And you see Dylan saying, I've not just beat him once, I've beat him twice. I beat Marco on 2 separate occasions. We were wrong. We said it would be separated on the Xbox games, and it wasn't. I should say on the PS, it was separated on those Xbox games. Dylan, unbelievable performances. And fair winners.
And what a dream story. What a dream story for both of these two. You can just see An emotional JMK there and a very, very happy Dylan. That man took a step back from FIFA eSports last year. What a way for him to come back into this space and to be a winner overall. $13,000 in his back pocket with his teammate. What a story. One of the lowest ranked teams that came into this tournament. Doesn't matter what you do in the qualifiers. Just get to this tournament and the rest can be history. Forget about the groups. Get out the groups. It's a different story in the knockouts. And we've just seen that here in the perfect example across this best of 5.
Unbelievable. You see the full-time results. It took 4 games for Direwolves to get the win. They won the first game 1-0 against Naylor. We went to the Xbox where Dylan beat Marco 4-2. In game 3, a little bit of hope for Atlantide Waves with Naylor winning 2-1, but Dylan rounding off the performance with an incredible 2-0 victory. And you look towards Marco, that Xbox player. They won and lost the series on those games.
I mean, Rich, at least we got to experience 4 games of that. Yeah. But extra time as well. We knew we'd see some extra time today. Plenty more of that to come. As we said, today we've still got 2 zone finals. Tomorrow, we've got 3 more of them as well. At the end of this weekend, we'll have 6 winners from all of our 6 different zones. A different FIFAe Club World Cup this year, but still, those big match moments always delivering in the final there. What a story for Direwolves.
Not only the big match moments, but the big finals as well. Drama filled. You go back to last year when we were in Milan, the final between Complexity 11's eSports, penalties. Yeah. We're getting the same level of drama right now. We're going to get it 6 times. I cannot wait for the rest of these zone finals.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Let's have a look at some of those goals in that final game. The nervous game from the Xbox between Marco and Dylan in the end. It took a long time, didn't it, for the first goal to come?
You see this first goal, the Berber spin cancel. He went to execute it, cancelled back into R9, and look at the reaction from Dylan. Marco, frustration. Naylor with a little bit of a grimace, and JMK, the most vocal of all the players. 87th minute, he played short. Sadio Mane, fresh off the bench, away from the defenders. Dinked across to Cristiano Ronaldo, and that was the goal that sealed the tie.
I think they knew it as well. You saw the output of emotion.
Come on, Bill!
And his teammate. Not once, but twice, he said, what a story. As we said as well, I mean, speaking of that game earlier that they did play in the group stages, didn't beat him.
No, did
not beat him on the Xbox. It was a chance of, trying to get that sort of revenge, and it doesn't come in a better way than the grand final, in all honesty.
Absolutely not. Incredible scenes from both players, and really, when you look at the results, it wasn't sort of... It was even, but it wasn't even. It was clear-cut, the victory in the end. We saw Spencer just there on the stage. We're going to jump over to him for some analysis of our Zone 1 Grand Finals. You came in a bit early, Spencer, but now's your time to shine.
I'm just so excited to share this analysis with you boys. Thank you. We're going to look at that goal. There was the first goal in that game from Dylan that obviously set him up to end up winning the tie. And it's about a little bit of a journey he takes the defenders on here. So you watch the ball here. We pause it. So we're going to look at this man here. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. Got quite a few defenders either side of him. How's he going to get a goal? Interestingly, it's actually going to be this man here that's going to score it. And they're going to kind of do a little bit of flip reverse of positions. Essentially, Cristiano Ronaldo is going to take him on a little journey to another side of the box. But both defenders follow. You see the space he's created? So that's, if you want to call it a mistake, with the fact that both these centre-backs here have gone with him and followed. And it's created all this space in the middle, which, of course... We're going to attack in a second. Don't worry about that shape. It's supposed to be a square, but we'll go again. And essentially, obviously, we know it's going to score, don't we? We'll play it through here. Finds Ronaldo in the box. And once you get it in that position, it's as close as you're going to get in FIFA to a dead cert goal. And it can look, when you watch it at full speed, like an easy goal. It's a simple pass across the box, but it's the space creation that makes that such an important goal. And it was an important goal, Layla, because it was the first goal. They didn't concede a goal in that game, ends up getting a 2-0 win. And they've done it, haven't they? The Direwolves have done so well.
They've done it. We have crowned our Zone 1 champions, Direwolves. Jem, King and Dylan ripping up the rankings, tearing up every sheet of paper that was stacked up against them. And the underdog's day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we made them too much of an underdog.
Yeah.
Maybe we bought into that storyline too much. They sort of did as well. They said, if you love an underdog team, we're the team for you. But I think that was really good gamesmanship in a way, just to take the pressure off themselves, to put themselves in a no-lose scenario, which they did, and then they ended up winning. And listen, we're going to talk it. We're going to paint a picture that that Atlantide have lost something big here, and they will feel that way now, and they'll be gutted. But let's also give them credit. They've done fantastically well to get as far as they did. They were the #1 team throughout qualification. But as I mentioned earlier, it's not about how you start; it's about how you finish. And fair play to the Direwolves.
You're right to credit Atlantide because it is a very tough competition, but it's a massive win for Direwolves, and the players individually. This is quite game-changing for them.
I think so. I think so. I mean, certainly within this region, they're going to feel like some of the top players. I said it before, I'll say it again, JMK King, he had the most to gain today, in my opinion. He's had a win and a loss there, but the loss was on extra time against arguably the top player in the region right now. But he had the most to gain in terms of his standing within the community, 36th ranking. Whilst that might not necessarily jump up overnight because of this, he will feel like he's way better than that now. You've won a major event in this zone, and he's working as an office manager at a golf club, and that may continue. But also, he might think maybe he wanted a push to go sort of full time with FIFA, and he's going to feel that way. Dylan's obviously a student as well. He's able to balance both at the moment, but there'll come a time, obviously, where he needs to decide if he wants to do this more seriously, and that's the sort of motivation you need to do this properly.
It might be premature to ask them this now, but they are here now, so let's talk to our winners, JMK King and Dylan. You guys must be feeling fantastic.
Yeah, feeling pretty good now, to be honest. Dill got us over the line there, which was took the pressure off me, but yeah, very stoked.
JMK, I wanted to ask you first because we were talking about how much of a statement win this is for you personally. Is this something that you thought about prior to the game, how important this win is to you?
Oh, absolutely. It's obviously getting to the final was a big enough achievement, but I thought if we could win it, it would really stamp my name on the scene and show that I'm here for it and I can perform against all the other top players.
It's fantastic stuff, guys. Congratulations. Dylan, what was going through your head when you see your teammate here pick up that win in the first game? You're like, this isn't the script. What's going on here?
No, I'll be honest. I said to Josh before we started, if you can win the first game, we'll win the whole thing, because I was confident in myself. I don't want to say I was certain that I was going to win all my games today, but I was 80-90% sure that I'd win both games because I'm playing in the form of my life right now, and I couldn't see anyone beating me today.
You both, played very confidently. The composure and calmness was there, but equally you were very aware that you were coming up against a favourite. Mentally, how did you prepare yourself for that? Dylan?
Well, going into it, it was basically just the pressure's all off you when you're the underdog. If everyone doesn't expect you to get the win, then you can't lose really, and it just showed that we could go out there, be comfortable on the pitch, be composed, and we both got the job done. So.
And Dylan and both of you guys, what's the plan now individually? Obviously, this is like a team event and you've done great for your organisation, Direwolves. We've got to make sure we celebrate that because it's all about the org here. But for you guys individually, what are your plans for the rest of the year? Is this going to give you a real kind of motivation to kick on and do some big things? Dylan, starting with you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was so close to winning my first ever event. The second Oceania broadcast unfortunately lost the grand final to Marcus Gomes in penalties. So I knew coming into this tournament now, this is my really big chance to win my first ever tournament. And now I've got another broadcast in 2 weeks' time. I'm looking to win that. Playoffs sometime in June. I'm looking to win that. So I'm just going to kick on the rest of the season. Hope to win everything from now on.
Already looking ahead and looking forward, but guys, today I think you can sit back, relax and enjoy. You are Zone 1 champions. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Top work.
Wow, really good to see that, and to see to hear Dylan talk about hitting his form and his peak and saying that he really felt no one would beat him today. Confident
player, and it's very interesting though because he says that, and I believe him. But he also was the one who said in the bit before, we're the underdog, if you're like an underdog, we're the team for you. So I think it's very clever. I would have done the exact same thing in his position, put the pressure on your opponents. But he's a confident player. He's talking about some really good individual performances he's had, just missing out on a qualifier win before. That's what is a good thing to come out of this strange year we're in, where we're doing a lot more regional stuff. What it's doing is it's giving a little bit more highlight and opportunity for individuals in certain zones that maybe wouldn't have got that. If it had been more of a worldwide event and they wouldn't have had the spots available for qualification and whatnot, because they're concentrating on various regions. This one particularly here being Oceania. Some players are coming through. You know, and they're going to take a lot from that. And then when we go back maybe to a more traditional setup, say next year, assuming we do, they can carry on that form. And they can feel, well, I've proved I'm pretty good in my continent. Now I want to prove it on a global scale. Would they have ever got that opportunity to do that without this sort of rejigging of the structure? I don't know. So I think it's fantastic that we're finding these new players.
Opening it up a little more. Could we also argue that would they have done that well had the pressure not been so let off them? In the way that they were talking about underdogs and that we were talking about underdogs, there was an element of that they had nothing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all very tight margins. I mean, there wasn't any huge scorelines there. I mean, you could feel hard done by, particularly with some of the goals. In that first goal, maybe from that first game that went against Atlantide. But I do think they're the worthy winners. And I do wonder, you know, they talked in that piece before we played the first game that as well as painting themselves as underdogs, they also said that they've identified some weaknesses in their opposition's game as well. Now, some of that might have been tactical. I think their tactics were on point. But also, could it have been their strategy? They literally might have said to each other, let's just make ourselves massive underdogs. Yeah. Let's put all the pressure on the opponents because we feel that they might not deal with it that well. And if that's what they did it perfectly. Going forward now as well, how important is this for the club? It's massive for any esports organisation to get this opportunity. This is why we do it, right? Any team that's in this space loves, you know, being part of FIFA esports, but unlike some other esports, FIFA is normally a 1v1 thing. So when someone wins, we might say the name of the esports org before, you know, their title or whatnot, but really the credit goes to the individual. And that's why I love this event. It is more about the org. It's about their ability to manage players, their ability to recruit players, you know, their ability to, in some cases, be tactical with their choice of players, because some teams have had a bigger roster than two and they've had to narrow it down. So I'm a big fan of it, and I think, yeah, for Direwolves, especially Australian esports org, obviously, you know, winning in their region. They've been in esports org for 7 years now, but you know, they're making waves in FIFA. That's massive for them. An exciting first day of the final. We have our Zone 1 Oceania champions. A good, nice shock underdog story. Absolutely perfect way to have the day. And then now, later on, we're going to come back with Zone 3. What can we expect there? A little teaser from you, Spencer. Hopefully more of the same. You know, Zone 3 is a really interesting region because if you look at the rankings, the guys we've got playing, I mean, the highest player ranking is 22nd. You've got a 29th ranked player. This is obviously within their region. 42nd and 59th. Okay, so on paper, you know, much like we just saw with J&K King, you know, it shows you that maybe it doesn't necessarily require the best individual player to make the best team. You know, if you guys have got a good setup and good chemistry, one thing that's really apparent with both these regions as well is they've got a lot more players on PlayStation than they do on Xbox. So what they're having to do is take PlayStation players and put them on the other console, which is a whole different tactical ball game as well. Which ones do you choose to switch? You know, in the case of Zone 3, it's the higher ranked players that have made the switch over to Xbox. So read into that what you will. All I can say is that we're in for some top quality games. I know FIFA and it never disappoints. Ever. So we'll be coming back with Zone 3 later, but today, so far, Zone 1 champions have been crowned, and their name is Dire Wolves.